blah 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 blah. Hello everybody and welcome to I'll Tell You What TV, where we're going to be talking about the Canadian Grand Prix, doing a bit of a review about that. We've also got a few other items to discuss throughout tonight's podcast and maybe a couple of games to play as well. Steve, James, welcome. Hope you're both well this evening.
Evening, not too bad.
Yeah, I'm alright, yeah.
Good.
Until Vicky gets home and he realises he's not done something he should have done.
Yeah, that's true.
No. I've got the washing up to do.
Okay, that's not too bad then. Okay, Canadian Grand Prix. Let's review that, shall we? Fucking boring as
short.
What I was going to say. Fucking boring as hell. Right, that's done. What's next? Because that's about as much. Well, no. Okay, I have got more to talk about it, but fuck, it was a boring race.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that I'd ordered a curry and then was eating it, I probably would have nodded off during that one.
You know what? Right, when we ordered food, because I came around to yours to watch the race. When we ordered the food, I thought, how am I going to eat a curry and write notes at the same time? It wasn't a problem because there was nothing to fucking write about. I think we countered that there, in the whole of the race, not including lap 1 up to turn 5, there were 2 overtakes in the whole race, and one of them probably doesn't even count because the checkered flag was waved early, which meant that the race ended early, which meant that the overtake didn't happen, which was Perez overtaking Magnussen. So it was a 1 overtake race. So,
but John, can I just quickly tell you what I found the most interesting part about the whole thing?
Go on.
Right, it was actually after you left, Dave. They were interviewing Ricardo in the pit lane, right?
Yeah.
And they announced that Max Verstappen got the
fastest
lap of the race, and it's like, no, I got it on the last lap. No, because it had to go back 2 laps because of the checkered flag going out at the wrong time, because it basically effectively becomes a red flag situation, goes back 2 laps. So it was like, no, I set the fastest lap. He wasn't having it.
Well, James,
that was about the best bit of it.
Yeah, well, James, I know you sent us a quote from Lewis Hamilton. Do you remember the quote?
Something like this.
You completely cut out then, other than giggling.
I thought it was just like, these cars are shit or something to that extent.
Yeah, doesn't sound like you're with it this evening much, James.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with me. My brain's like just not. It's like on 2 cylinders instead of 6.
Have you taken your medication today?
No.
That might be why.
I bet he wasn't even with it when he was doing his commentating for his own league and didn't get the word hobnobs in there either.
Oh my god,
I did it twice.
Oh, you know what? You've just ruined a whole section of my show, you bastards.
I did listen to it, actually. I did hear it. Hardy.
I spent fucking hours today putting together some video footage to surprise everybody. And you go, I'm straight away. First 5 minutes, cheers. Just ruined my fucking 2 hours of video editing today. Thank you very much, you wanker.
Oh, you have to just tell us anyway in a minute.
You know what?
James does his plug.
You know what? Right, fuck it. Because of that, right? Do you know what? I've been sent some secret footage, you know, of Steve working out. Would you like to see it, James?
Yeah.
Working out mathematics or physically working out?
Doing some physical workouts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You would not believe the things that I get sent to me, you know. So you know what? I'm going to have to send it to you. I'm going to show the viewers as well. So get this loaded up, guys, when I send it, but don't press play yet. Let me know when you're ready to press play and I'll count us into it. So I will send you to this link. So yeah, so I mean, I'm amazed, you know, at what gets sent to me sometimes. I think it's only fair that, seeing as Steve has stitched me up there, that we have a look at Steve doing a bit of a workout. So if you guys let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I can't. Are you ready, James?
Yeah.
I think James has already watched it. Okay, let's watch it, shall we? So 3, 2, 1, let's go. Let's have a look at Steve working out, shall we?
Looks like someone's implanted a pair of balloons onto my chest.
I think they have implanted them.
I'm guessing Steve ain't got his volume on.
I can't, and with me having my headset in the same device, I don't get to hear the volume.
Yeah, they're definitely implants. There's nothing real there.
Right, Steve, I think you need to be able to watch that and listen to it. You need to hear the audio of the workout as well. And James, if you've not heard it, you need to hear it as well. So you're going to have to watch it again with the audio.
I don't know how I can do that.
I don't know how you can do it. Because Skype's taking over the audio. Is he shitting himself?
No. I can't. Well, I don't know how you two are going to be able to watch it with the audio. How would you usually watch a video with a bit of audio when we're on
Sometimes
Skype,
you can just about make out what the audio is.
Yeah.
On this it's not. Yeah. Oh yeah, I heard the fart.
You'll have to subscribe for this. What's the sound effects?
Well, I wonder if I could send it to you on Skype and then it'd work on Skype for you. Let's have a look.
I've just fed Bella this big slab of smoked salmon because it a couple of days off. So I thought she'll have it. So I'm not a huge fan of smoked salmon. And her breath's bad at the worst of times. She'll just come over and lick my head.
Oh.
Jesus, it stinks.
Right, I've sent you both the video on Skype, so you might be able to watch it and listen to it on Skype as well. I don't know. You can try. Yeah. So that's Steve working out. I have got quite a few videos to show this evening, but I suppose really we should talk about the Canadian Grand Prix because we are an F1 podcast, essentially.
Are we?
Kind of, yeah, when there's something to talk about. So I think the best thing we can do, because, I mean, it was such a shit race, we start by going through our predictions.
It now on Skype, it's exactly the same. You can't really make out any audio.
That's a shame for you. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Well, I'll listen to it in a bit.
Okay, so predictions wise then, Steve's had a pretty good week actually, and I've not done too bad. James, I've got to say you've done so brilliantly with your predictions. You've got exactly the same amount of points as you had last week.
0.
Yeah, you got no points this week, unfortunately. So I'm showing the predictions on the screen. I better send it to you two as well, haven't I?
Do I get a point for my drawing of Monaco redone?
No. Nice try. You get points for something else a little bit later, don't you worry. Okay, so I'll send you guys a picture of the predictions that we did. Steve went for Hamilton for pole and winner, but obviously we know that Hamilton and Mercedes had their new engine upgrade. They couldn't use it because it didn't pass quality control. Steve's podium, Hamilton, Vettel and then Kimi, completely wrong. First to crash out, Sainz-Sirotkin was not a bad call, but it wasn't him this time. New DRS overtakes, you said none, and you were right, there are none, or there were none. Now, first under Steward's inquiry was the other prediction that we did. Now, I'm going to give you a point for this one, Steve, because you did actually say that it'd be Brendan Hartley, and he was involved in the first Steward's inquiry. You did say it'd be on lap 21 for a pit lane speeding, but you don't get any points for that one, obviously. But you do get a point for getting the fact that Bottas was right. Not Bottas, that Hartley was the person under inquiry.
Okay.
James, Your guesses were good, but you got no points. So Hamilton for the pole, Bottas for the win, podium of Bottas, Kimi and Ocon, Perez to crash out first, new DRS overtakes, you said 8. There wasn't even 8 in the whole race, but there we go. First under inquiry, Grosjean, not a bad call, but actually I think Grosjean had probably his best race of the season so far.
Well, Perez nearly, he wouldn't have been the first to crash, but he almost did a cracking job at crashing.
Oh, down at turn 1.
What a, and then Grosjean, him and Grosjean are in the same category for me. Mediocre, can't accept any blame, and then blame somebody else. I mean,
how can you...
Sainz should have got a black flag was like, say, like...
It's like saying, I've just had a shit, but I'm not going to wipe my arse.
Yeah, he fucked up, and he didn't want to admit that he fucked up.
Mm.
Even though we could all see he fucked up.
I mean, it's the same for Stroll, but we'll get on to him in a little while. Okay, so my predictions, I didn't do too bad here. Went for Vettel on pole, got that one right. Winner, Kimi Raikkonen, was nowhere fucking near. Podium of Bottas, Hamilton and Vettel wasn't far off, had I picked Verstappen instead of Hamilton. First to crash out, I said it'd be Alonso. It wasn't, but he did have a bit of a shocker of a race. New DRS overtakes, I said there'd be none. And first under inquiry, I said would be Max Verstappen. And to be fair, he kept his nose clean all the way through the race. So I got 2 points, Steve got 2 points. Steve also had to have 2 points added on that I didn't add on for him a couple of weeks ago. So Steve is now on 9, I'm on 9, and James is trailing behind on 5.
Come back. Don't worry, I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
So yeah, okay. Biggest talking point of the race then, Stroll, Hartley, the crash, opening lap of the race. Your thoughts?
Oh, expected.
I just say it proves how. I've got to say, I probably wouldn't want to be driving that Williams because you could clearly see that the car. The rear end had lost all grip. The rear end was sliding towards Brendan, and then the inevitable happened. But it could partly be Stroll's fault, but at the same time, that Williams, we've said all last week that the Williams just looks absolute shit.
I think
maybe a more experienced driver would have thought, "Oh, I better not push so quick through it. Oh shit, I've lost it," before you lose it. So maybe that's... Stop breathing on me, Bella. That fucking fish. Oh.
I mean, what concerns me is what Claire Williams said on the Saturday. Yeah. Well, hang on. No, it's not the bit that you're going to mention. I'm saving that for you. Don't worry. Claire Williams said something on Saturday which concerned me. And that was, she was asked the question, do you guys give up on this car now and focus on next year? And she said, no, we can't. We have got to understand and fix this car because next year's car is built on the basis of this car. So basically, the car they're using now is going to be next year's car. So they have to fix this car. Well, I tell you what, they're fucked for next year.
Yeah, exactly. They're completely fucked.
Yeah.
They basically said to their sponsors, "We're fucked next year."
Well, the thing is,
well, their sponsor would say, "Look, if you're basically telling us we're gonna have the same situation next year, I'm off."
You know what? Someone at Williams should actually go, you know what, we can spin this into something good. Get in touch with Durex and say, we want you to sponsor our car with the slogan of, we're getting fucked every weekend, so we want to be protected. And there you go, you got to sponsor a great slogan, bit of fun in the paddock, and away you go. And just admit that you're getting...
Taking it to them from the rear.
Yeah. Now, James, you were going to... Obviously, Claire Williams said something else over the weekend. So go on, what was it that Claire Williams said that pissed you off?
Oh, well, I don't know if it were played during.
Mm-hmm.
Did you both watch it on Sky or Channel
Yeah,
4?
we watched it on Sky, and I know exactly what she said because me and Steve looked at each other and went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, exactly. She's been interviewed by Rachel Brooks or whatever, and she just says, "I don't exactly know what Brendan was thinking there, as Stroll was Stroll was going through the corner, minding his own business, and Brendan just drove into the side of him."
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. Is she? I believe she is so out of touch and doesn't actually give a fuck other than his paycheck.
Things. Do you know what she said?
Thanks.
Do you know what she was asked and what she said right after she'd said that? The interviewer said to her, "All right, have you seen it, the incident?" And she said, "No, that's what my team have told me." It's like, don't give a comment on an incident
Don't give a comment.
if you've not, if you've not seen it.
Yeah, I don't want to comment.
Yeah, because guarantee she'll have gone and watched that afterwards, and then had to turn to someone and say, "I've just fucking told everybody that was Brendan Hartley's fault," when clearly it's Lance Stroll's. Now, something that Steve said when we were watching it was quite, I mean, he said a lot, but something that Steve said that was quite interesting was throughout the course of the race they showed a replay of it a number of times, but it was
because he had nothing else to show.
Yeah, because he had nothing else to show. But they were only ever showing it from literally the go beyond the kink, the contact happening, right? Steve sat there saying, "I want to see 10-15 seconds before that up to it."
Yeah. Or from the car behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, to see if Brendan had like a puncture or something like that. Not Brendan,
Stroll
had a puncture or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me,
You have no clue.
opening lap of the race, I have no problem with two cars going side by side around any part of the track, and you have to expect it. And unfortunately, I think Lance Stroll, whether it was his own mistake or the car, he's lost the rear end, he's tried to catch it, he's stuffed Brendan Hartley up the wall, both of them out of the race.
What was he doing that far up the grid in the first place?
Good question. So yeah, I mean, what I will say is, I mean, Williams are fucked, we know that. Stroll, definitely not a good enough driver, I don't think. The opening lap kind of proved it. Brendan Hartley, I mean, some people would say, I mean, I thought it was interesting. I like Martin Brundle as a commentator, and now on the formation lap, he was saying that you can't hesitate on the opening lap of the race because it's a little bit like going in a bit gentle in a football tackle or a rugby tackle. You'll just end up hurting yourself. So opening lap, Brendan Hartley, I wouldn't say he's overly aggressive, he's just forceful. And what does Brett Brundle say? "Oh, well, he shouldn't have driven up there, he's always going into a closing gap." And it's like, no, I actually think he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was sat there thinking, well, hang on, you've just completely contradicted yourself. You've just been banging on about being the aggressor rather than being like rolling over like a dog.
Being the Vaseline test subject.
I've got to say, if I were in Brendan's shoes, I'd have probably done exactly the same.
Well, not only that, right? It's a staggered grid, but it's a 2x2 grid, basically. You've got to expect on that first lap, for at least half a lap, to have a car somewhere alongside you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't expect after turn 2 it to be single file straight away.
No, not at all. But what I will say is the battle between Bottas and Verstappen at the start of the race, that was a cracking little battle. And I'm glad to see that Bottas got his elbows out. I mean, I was pleased that Verstappen was aggressive but didn't make contact, or enough contact to warrant anything. But I'm glad that Bottas got his elbows out and said, basically, "Fuck off, you're not coming through, mate." Because interestingly, if Verstappen had got ahead of Bottas, something may have happened at the front. Could the Red Bull have caught Vettel? Don't know, maybe. But Bottas, if he'd have been passed by Verstappen, he'd have been up shit creek because the Mercedes was just nowhere near quick enough all weekend because of its engine.
Yeah. As well, I've got to say, we've touched on Claire Williams. the representation of women in Formula 1 was really damaged.
I wonder what you're hinting at there, James.
I mean, first of all, you get some supermodel who, no offence, I mean, she's probably a lovely person. She's one of these people where you're like, I understand why she's probably famous. It's because of the way she looks.
Yeah.
But she clearly had no clue of either the front end of a Formula 1 car or the back end of a Formula 1 car.
You know what? I'm going to stand up for her now. Right, I was on the same wavelength as you of like, what the fuck? Because obviously you're on about waving the checkered flag too soon, right? And I would say that I was on your side and Steve's side. I was on that side of the fence of going, what the fuck was she doing waving the flag early? Until I just happened to see a tweet that she put out that evening, which was basically along the lines of, I'm really sorry, I waved the flag when he told me to. So the guy that was there with her, who was to tell her when to wave, told her to wave the flag, but it was 2 laps too soon. So as much as I'd like to say stupid cow, it's actually stupid cunt.
You want to know why it happened?
Go on.
Because Charlie Whiting cleared this up. And exactly the same thing happened when Pele did it. And it happened in China as well. And if you remember, Dave, we were watching a battle on the 69th lap, and I was like, oh, there's only one more lap to go.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, there's 2 laps to go, and it's because the leader had already gone past the start-finish line.
Yes.
When on the camera, they were showing someone that hasn't gone past the start-finish line.
Yes.
The marshal, who's called the starter, who's on the start line, who also waves gives the instruction to wave the checkered flag, was watching the monitor when he took that same assumption as what I did. When watching it, he radio called to Charlie Whiting to confirm the last lap. This is the last lap. Charlie said yes, so the call was given from the top to wave the flag.
Jesus. Okay, James, on that information, you still going to slag off the ladies?
Yeah, because, no offence, I understand that she's got like a huge Twitter following, and she puts out one tweet and you get a load more people engaging with Formula 1. I understand that completely. But she in no way represents anything that's anything to do with what Formula 1 is.
No.
She's just there because she's a supermodel and she's got a load of followers.
Yeah.
Is she Canadian?
She was, yeah.
But, like, she's there flying flag. She isn't looking at the car. She ain't looking at Sebastian Vettel coming past.
Yeah.
She's looking back, flying the flag, because there's a camera aimed at her from where the pit wall is. And she's thinking, oh, this will look great on my Twitter feed. And
I mean, okay.
It's like saying to somebody, let's say, for example, right, we get, let's say, for example, there's a hot new movie director turns up, right, and he's shit hot and he makes loads of movies, and
his name's James Bulkin Hot Dog.
Yeah, and he's openly said, I don't give a shit about Star Wars, it's not really my thing. But because he's so shit hot, 2 years later somebody goes, do you want to direct Star Wars? We'll give you so many million. And he goes, yeah. Yeah. And he turns up and he makes a movie that, well, a bit like Ryan Johnson, makes a movie that just fucks everybody off. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things where I'm like, the last person I saw at Grand Prix where like they actually know the ins and outs as much as like we do, and they clearly bothered. Get somebody like that up there who would really,
even if it was a former driver,
exactly
a Jacques Villeneuve or someone like that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of celebrities waving the flag because there's 2 occasions I know of now where it's been done wrong, and okay, the instruction may have come from the top, but to be fair, if the person waving the flag kind of knows what they're doing anyway, I mean, if it was us, I mean, if I'd have been stood there and the guy saying, right, you need to wave the checkered flag, I'd be able to go, hang on, no, because there's still a lap to go.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously someone that knows bugger all about Formula One, it doesn't have the capacity to
Yeah, her
ponder that
capacity
question.
was fly the flag and look at the camera and smile.
Yeah.
That was her capacity. It was not anything to do with actual what was going on underneath her. It was my job is stare at the camera and smile and wave.
Yeah.
It's like, no offence, but I understand that it wasn't her fault, but at the same time, the instant thought you have in your head is, what the fuck?
Yeah. Why has she done that? I mean, it's not good for the sport either, because I mean, I thought it was interesting that Crofty.
Race, we're laughing at her.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting that, I mean, I don't have a problem with anybody not knowing the rules of Formula One. So when Crofty and Brundle were having the conversation, where of like, does that mean the race is already finished? And Crofty's like, well, yeah, technically, yeah. And Brundle's like, well, I'm not so sure. And obviously there is a rule in there, and Crofty knew that because it had happened before. Brundle wasn't so aware of it. I haven't got a problem that Brundle didn't know about it, because their conversation then allows everybody else to learn about it. And that's what commentary should be at times. But at the same time, I think there's bigger problems in Formula One than somebody waving a flag too soon. I mean, I know there's a lot of people tweeting it's a good job they waved the flag too soon because it was boring as fuck.
Yeah.
And
but let's say, for example, you've got some super hot supermodel from Brazil, and let's say Brazil's final round. You've got a title contend. You know what I mean? 2008. Let's say 2008, you got some hot Brazilian model. She goes up and flies the flag 1 lap before the end.
Championship
the
over.
The championship's completely tied up, and it's all fucked because one person made a mistake.
Well, it's like I think it was Brundle was saying, or Crofty was saying that Bernie Eccleston did that once when he was a team owner. Basically, got a person to wave the flag early because it benefited his team.
It doesn't surprise me either.
Well, that's just Bernie through and through.
Yeah.
It benefits me, fuck everybody else.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, though, in the race, safety car was brought out. I must admit, when the crash happened, I think the safety car ruined the race, to be honest. I think I would have preferred to have seen a red flag go again, because once the safety car situation had happened, it affected people's tyre temperatures, tyre lives, put the strategies into a dead easy one-stopper for everybody. I think the safety car ruined the race, to be honest. Spread everybody out a bit too much. And the rest of the race, there really was not much to talk about. I mean, I'm looking at some of my notes, and usually my notes are, oh, good action or good battle between these two, and for most of it, it's just boring notes I've made. Hamilton with a lack of power. Alonso attacked Leclerc but couldn't make the move. Vettel running away. Perez pitting, and that's no action. New DRS was useless. I mean, that's something that we could talk about. I mean, they bring in the new DRS zone. It didn't fucking help overtake it in that area, but that's not what they brought it in for. They brought it in so that people would be closer going into the hairpin. But nobody overtook down there either. So
I think they brought it in as well to guarantee a new fastest lap in the race. So that they've got, you know, the commentators are like, oh, this season's a record breaker for the amount of circuits we've been to where the race lap record's been broken and stuff like that.
But that's like.
Sorry, James, you're cutting out, mate. Can't hear you.
You know, sorry. I'm in my game room. It's behind like 4 meters of concrete or whatever. But it's like putting an elastoplast over a puncture in a tyre. Yeah. It's covering it up for one season, covering up how shit it is. It's just admit that the cars can't follow each other, or you know what I mean. I understand that I saw a video showing what they're going to do for next year, But even so, you know, like we said about the overall general look of the Formula 1 cars, I think are slightly off in terms of scale and proportion. The new one, yeah, you might get great overtaking, but I'm not kidding you, they will not be good-looking cars.
Things I can I can accept slightly ugly if the racing's good.
Oh yeah, I would much prefer that, but
I mean, it's a little bit like a girlfriend, isn't it? There's no point having a really beautiful girlfriend if she's crap in bed. You'd rather have one that's a little bit less attractive and is absolutely crazy in bed.
As well,
I'm lucky I've got both, Dave. I don't mean two separate ones. I mean
smooth talker. You smooth talker.
You just said that your wife's completely crazy. That's evil, Steve.
Crazy in bed, I suppose.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear him then. I just heard him say she's crazy.
No, Claire's not crazy. But the crazy in bed bit, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, she's has to put up with Steve. So, anyway, let's not diverge from what we were talking about. We could end up digging a big hole for all of us. So yeah, I mean, the new DRS zone was useless. But I mean, the cars. I mean, I must admit, I got thinking yesterday. The first few races of the season, there was a lot of different things that happened, and some of the races were kind of really exciting. But I'm wondering, you know, whether they were only exciting because of VSCs and safety cars that mixed up the races a bit. Whereas Monaco, there wasn't a safety car, surprise to everybody. Canada, okay, there was a safety car, but it didn't really have much of an effect on anyone other than it spread things out. So
early on in the race, it was just not effective.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering whether the earlier races were only exciting because shit had happened, whereas in this race, other than that incident on lap 1, I mean, if that incident had happened 5, 6, 7 laps into the race, there may have been a bit more action up to then, but because it happened lap 1, that then meant that was it, the race was nullified, and then when the race got going again, no one could do anything, even with DRS down the back straight. So for me, I think if I was Ross Brawn, I would be getting all of the team managers and owners together and saying, look, I know you want to wait a year or two, but I don't think we can afford to, because if we keep racing how it has been at Canada, people aren't going to tune in next year.
Yeah. Well, I say this every single week, I much prefer to watch DTM, because you get way more action, yeah. You might not get the variety of racetracks and the big build-up and all that lot. But in terms of overtakes, you get nearly you get at least 2 good overtakes per lap. In F1, it's just like, fuck, where is it?
Yeah.
Where is this is it. The pinnacle of Formula 1, yeah. The pinnacle of motorsport, yeah, brilliant. But there is no motorsport, there's no overtaking, it's just fucking boring.
Yes.
There's no sport, that's for sure.
Well, there's no competition.
The top 3 teams have just got a fucking stranglehold over the rest. It's like Formula 1 is Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull. Formula 2 is Renault and everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, Vettel was so far ahead that he lapped everybody up to Kimi Raikkonen. I mean, that in itself just says, hang on a minute. So, and it wasn't just Vettel that lapped everyone up to Raikkonen. It was pretty much the top 6 lapped everybody. I mean, the
next car that Raikkonen was going to lap was going to be himself.
Yeah, that'd be a difficult one to do. So, I mean, for me, I know as soon as the race finished, I turned around to Steve and said, well, that was a waste of 2 hours. Because it was probably one of the most boring races I've seen. Now, I've been interested in motorsport long enough to respect that not all races will have overtakes, but some will still be intense. Like a Monaco, where you're not going to get a lot of overtaking, but there's challenge, there's a battle, there's something could happen. In Canada, I never got that. I never got that sense of tension anywhere, other than when me and Steve are sat there going, Grosjean's close to Perez. It's not showing on the camera. Not showing. 10 laps later, they've still not shown. Oh, Grosjean's got past. Right, do we ever get to see that? No. Right, okay, no worries. Oh, someone else. Who was it? Leclerc was close to someone. He's catching somebody up. Are we going to get to see that? No, we're not. Okay. They only jumped on board of them on the last sort of couple of laps, and that's when we found out that the flag had been waved too soon. So the only action that was actually happening in the race, they weren't fucking showing on the screen. Now, what I will say is, Leclerc did a very good job once again. Qualified well, raced well. Grosjean, I thought, had a brilliant race coming from the back of the grid and was hoping for a safety car. Didn't get one, unfortunately. Both Renaults seem to have one of their best races in a while. And Gasly, he had a good run as well. Other than that, it was all a little bit dull and boring. And
I think Alonso had enough by halfway through and decided to go in.
Yeah.
It's just.
But I think. Did either of you see the interview with Brundle and Alonso?
Yes.
I could quite clearly see. I mean, us three if Liberty Media wanted to listen to the fans, us three, I think, are your representation of a fairly hardcore. Well, we do a fucking podcast. I'd say we're pretty hardcore. Maybe not know everything, but we have a general gist of shit that's going on. And even I can tell each week when there's been a really good race, we can't wait to talk about it. When there's been a really boring race, it's been 2 races on the bounce. We're literally like, we want to talk about other stuff because we're like, there's fucking not to talk about. And
I mean, that's a good point, right? Because I have spent probably 2 to 3 hours today prepping stuff for tonight's show, and not a single fucking bit of it is F1 related.
Yeah, exactly. But that's it. I mean, if we're hardcore fans and we're a bit bored of it, it's exactly like fucking Star Wars. Hardcore fans are like,
Ray will probably agree.
We're a bit bored of this, and we're a bit fucked off. Can you make some, that we want to, that makes us want to go and sit down and go, fucking hell, yes, this is what it is.
Now, interestingly, thinking about it, James, on the last podcast, Steve mentioned about the audio up. Did you manage to spot that at any point over the weekend?
I did, and I've got to say, I didn't really. I did kind of get it, but I still wasn't getting like, ooh, this is good. I just kind of sat there going,
you didn't put your audio up enough.
I mean, for me, I can see what Steve was on about, and I can also see what Steve was on about in saying, why don't they just use that all the fucking time? So at least it sounds a little bit better. And you're right. Why not just use it? I was doing a live broadcast last night, and I could hear that the cars were a little bit quiet for me, and I thought, well, if someone's watching this, it might not be that exciting because the noise can be good, and obviously you don't want to be drowned out by the engines, but they can do that in the media outlets on Formula 1. They can balance that volume so that you can still hear everything and have the cars sounding louder. But I did watch the interview with Alonso, and I think I could see him going off to IndyCar, because at least in IndyCar it's a new challenge. He's got a chance of winning races. McLaren aren't going to have a chance of winning races this year. They're not going to have a chance of winning races next year. At best, maybe fighting for podiums next year, which means it's going to be another 2 years until he can fight for championships. I don't think he's going to be willing to wait that long, because he's already been waiting, 7 years?
Yeah. That's awesome. But the way that he was talking about Formula 1, like proper dejected, I was kind of sat there thinking, I'm feeling the same, mate, and I'm not even fucking driving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the quote that you sent us about Lewis Hamilton saying, these cars are shit. They're great when you're on your own, driving round, but when you're on a track with other cars, behind other cars, they're awful. And he's right. And it makes for... It's a little bit like, okay, if you want to watch a football game, if you know it's going to be 20-0, it's not really very exciting to watch. But if you know it's two heavyweights going at it and you don't know who's going to win, then it's worth watching, even if it's a 0-0 draw. In Formula One, this weekend kind of felt like a 0-0 draw, but from the World Cup about 20 years ago when, what was it, Norway and fucking Egypt decided, you know what, if neither of us wins, we both go through. Right, let's just tap it around for an hour and a half. They got away with that as well. But that's kind of what this weekend sort of felt like. But I mean, I don't want to go into engines too much because we've talked engines loads, but I don't think it's... The engine situation is one thing, right? Mercedes' engine situation this weekend, it's kind of unavoidable to a degree. You quality control your engine, you test it, and you find out that it's not right, you can't use it. That's Mercedes' own fault. I think it was something like the engine housing was a millimetre too thin, so it wasn't strong enough. So it's a manufacturing fault. But it doesn't change the fact that at a race that they came to, instead of being able to run a newish engine, they're running an engine for its 7th race where their top competitors are running brand new equipment. And the difference between those two power units is massive.
Yeah, well, it's just like what we said the other day. It's like me getting in a race with some decent trainers, right? I'm going to be shit slow, but my competitor's Usain Bolt, and he's got fucking macaroni cheese strapped to his feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to win. I hope I will. Anyway.
You wouldn't. He could run halfway, stop, eat his shoes, and finish and still win.
I've got you and Steve sat at sidelines with snipers aiming at his feet.
Yeah.
Thing is, with Mercedes engine though, surely at some point in the season, because they've gone this extra one now, they'll benefit in future races.
Yes and no. What Mercedes said was that the engine that they used this weekend would have been used at the next race anyway. They wanted the new engine for this race because it's a power circuit. So basically what they'll do is they've switched the usage around. So the engine that had already done the first 6 was going to do one more anyway, but it did Canada. So the new engine will come in for the next race. So there isn't really a benefit for them because they were going to use the older engine at the next race because it's less power dependent. It just worked out as a deficit. I mean, Hamilton had power issues during the race anyway, but what I found interesting is, as well, you got Red Bull, who over the course of this season have taken gambles with pit stops. They went with a different tyre strategy this weekend and it worked for them. Ferrari will not do an additional pit stop unless it is absolutely necessary, and Mercedes don't seem to have the balls to say, let's take a gamble. Whereas Red Bull are the only ones up at the front that are willing to go, you know what, we're in 3rd at the moment. If we actually pit, we might lose a position, but we've got a chance of winning. If we stay as we are now, we're not going to win, but we should keep our... And they'll go, right, let's fuck it, let's take the gamble. So Ferrari could have pitted Raikkonen with a brand new set of tyres, been considerably faster, and been able to potentially gain a position. Did they take the gamble? No. Why? Because they broke someone's leg earlier this season, so out of fear they will not stop unless they absolutely have to. Mercedes could have pitted Hamilton and stuck him on fresher tyres, but decided not to because of fear of losing a position. But I said to Steve during the race, it wasn't that many years ago where Hamilton's tyres, I think it was driving for McLaren, his tyres were going off about 15 laps from the end, and they put a brand new set of tyres on, and he was so fast, he lost positions, but he was so fast he caught up the positions and gained positions from where he was. So I think he actually went on to win the race.
I think that were Canada 2010. I think it was Mark Webber, and I think it might have been Fernando Alonso. And I think he were coming up behind. Yeah, it was definitely 2010 because I remember on the build up to that, George Lucas were there and they had Jewel of the Fates music, Star Wars Episode 1, the one that you turned off the other day.
Yeah.
Before you got to the good bit with Darth Maul. But yeah, they used that music, and it straight away I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I'm getting quite excited for this race. And like you said, them last 15 laps were fucking heart pounding. You were like, yeah, come on. You could see the graining on back of Webber's tyres. And coming out of the final chicane, it just fucking blitzed him on traction. And it was like, yeah. And this race was just fucking shit.
Yeah, it was. And the thing is, I hate races like this as well, because not just because when it comes to us talking about it, it's not easy to talk about, but just sitting there watching it, it's painful to watch.
Thing is, I remember watching Formula One.
Now you see how I feel when I'm watching The Last Jedi.
I remember watching Formula One in many seasons, and you'd be like, oh, I wonder if he's going to do one more pit stop or two more pit stops. And you'd always be trying to second guess people's strategies, trying to work out what, is he going slow because he's trying to make his tyres last? Or, is he really pushing hard but he'll have to do another pit stop? Whereas now it's like, okay, when they pit, that's it. They've pitted.
I mean, I said to you, Steve, didn't I? I says, if they're taking the softest compounds of tyres to Canada and they're doing a one-stop race, something is wrong with the tyres.
Yep.
Because it shouldn't be a one-stop race around a track like Canada. I mean, for me, I would be saying, right, look, I want two-stop races at a bare minimum. Ideally, I want it to be 3 stops. 2 stops at the bare minimum. So someone could look after their tyres and do a 2-stop race. Anyone that's able to do 1 stops is either so fucking slow they're not even in the race, or you've fucking made the tyres too hard.
Yeah. I am seriously getting worried about the spectacle at Silverstone, because with these particular types of car, you can't follow each other through fast corners, and Silverstone is full of fast corners, which means at Silverstone this year there could be hardly any overtakes whatsoever.
Yeah. And I mean, while I was doing the live broadcast last night, and you should be able to relate to this as well, Stephen, you might as well, James, I did say that on the broadcast that driving slow cars isn't a problem as long as you've got a competition. As long as you're in a battle, it doesn't matter how fast the cars are, because if you're in a battle, that's where the tension comes from, that's where the excitement comes from, that's where the ability or showing of ability comes from. But if you're in a slow car and you're still pulling away from everyone, it's boring as fuck. But that's exactly the same if you're in a fast car watching a sport. If someone's in fast cars and there is no battle, no tension, no excitement, no showing of ability other than going around a track, that's not, I mean, it's a little bit like saying, okay, let's go and watch football for a whole season. By the way, nobody's going to score any goals. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, we know what it's like. So we know that, no offence, we know that Ferrari, Mercedes-Benz, and to an extent Red Bull, not so much these days, but back in the past, they don't give a shit about Formula 1 fans. All they give a shit about is winning, and then piggybacking off the back of winning a race is you sell to the average Joe on the street who walks past a poster and go, oh, they won. Oh, that's a good car. That's all they want to do.
Yeah.
Whereas if they actually looked at the amount of people that go to Formula 1 and spend money to go to Formula 1 that pay their wages, they'd probably realise, hang on, I mean, if let's say, for example, I won lottery tomorrow, I probably wouldn't be enticed to go buy a top-range Mercedes-Benz or Ferrari, because I'd just be like, well, personally, from not saying I'm a pauper, but just meaning like in terms of the spectrum of who's achieving in life and who's talking of like people like Bill Gates achieving, and people who are not achieving, I'd probably say I'm near the bottom of the run, like most people. So if I were given a load of money to then go and buy a top-of-the-range car, I'd say, you know what, fuck you corporate bastards. I'll go for something a bit more unique.
Yeah.
And spend my money that way. But that's just, you know,
Things
I
can see what you're saying.
They know exactly who they're marketing to.
Yeah.
And it's not the diehard F1 fans. It's the average Joe with a fucking million and a spare change in the back pocket.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I mean, can always hold out hope that by next year the regulation changes, the racing is going to get a bit more exciting. I mean, the stat for me that I think sort of put the final nail in the coffin for this weekend's race was the fact that, not including lap 1, the first overtake came on lap 50. Now, if you're in a race and the first overtake comes on lap 50, what the fuck has been going on for the 49 laps before that?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's...
No offence, but the Formula 1 brand, if I were Chase Carey, I would be fucking shitting myself.
Yeah.
Be thinking, fucking hell, this is getting worse and worse. If we don't do something drastic, I mean, I'm glad that they said, look, we're changing stuff for next year, and you can moan and cry about it, but tough shit. I did, you know, they put the foot down there. Whereas I know for a fact that probably Bernie would have gone, oh, well, Ferrari don't want it, so we better not have it. But I think they need to do something more drastic. Like, literally, like, say, from round 6 onwards, you've got to have a fucking huge rear wing that'll cause so much drag that you're all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just really fuck them all up.
Well, they are introducing a larger rear wing for next season. They are doing that.
Yeah.
But they could trial that one part alone this season and just say from race 11 onwards, you've got to use this rear wing because we're going to test it for next year. Yeah. You know, and just it'll throw a spanner in work. So Ferrari will be like, "Fuck off!" Like, well, you can either run it or you can run with no rear wing. Yeah. It's your choice.
Yeah, they'd soon put a rear wing on it. I mean, I think the only points of sort of that got the heart going a little bit was Carlos Sainz letting Bottas past. Do you remember that bit? This is how memorable the race wasn't.
I really don't, mate.
Where Bottas fucked up and nearly went straight on at turn 1, and Sainz had to let him through again.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, but for me, that were an ultimate downer though, because I was like, it looked like we were going to be closing on Vettel, and then as soon as he did that, guys were fucked, and that were battle over.
Yeah. Now, there's only one other note of that I've got that I want to mention, but it's not actually my note. It's Steve's note, and it's a reminder. Steve, I believe you was interested in a star at Canada.
Oh right, yeah. I called it a fake star, didn't I? No, was it something? Fake advertising.
Fake advertising, yeah.
Oh, it really did my bloody head in. On the exit of turn 9, James, did you see it? The star that went across the track, the Heineken
the huge
star.
That is like the invisible star, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as the
if you want a star to be there, fucking build one.
Exactly. Right. But what was really doing my head in was they'd switch the camera angle straight away to the cut, so you'd see the exit of turn 9.
Yeah, and
it's not there. And if you're going to make it people believe it's there, put it there on both camera angles.
Yeah, exactly. But the people that come up with these ideas, Steve, they're clearly not very smart. I mean, they can't even work out when to tell a girl when to fly a flag. You know what I mean?
What I'll say is, well, I mean, not being that. I mean, was it a Heineken star?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to know who sat there and says, oh, you know what, I don't think there's enough Heineken advertising all the way around the track. I think we need a giant star. It's only on the fucking outside and inside of every fucking corner and every fucking wall around the fucking track. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's a little bit like, you could have it one board on the track somewhere, and it would get just as much attention as having it everywhere and fake stars. Now, okay, maybe they'll go, yeah, but at least you're talking about it, even if it is in a negative way. You're talking about it, which means that you are advertising our brand. The thing is, it wouldn't be that bad if Heineken didn't taste like fucking shit.
Yep.
Anyway, fucking talking.
Other drinks are available. Like I'm still I'm drinking now.
Talking about drinking, though, you know, right? James, I believe that Nigel Bolt wasn't available on your Racing League's
he
commentary.
wasn't. I was devastated, mate. I was absolutely devastated.
Well, the thing is, I think I may have found out why he wasn't available.
You've been drinking too much Heineken.
Well, I did hear, right? I did hear, and I was sent a little bit of footage, a little bit of history of Nigel Bolt, right?
All right.
Okay, right. So I'm going to show you two a video here. I'll show it to the viewers as well. So if you guys let me know when you're ready to play this video. Now this is a video of a young Nigel Bolt who.
Was this before 1972? He lost his leg then.
It must have been. He was very young at this time, and he'd been out with his uncles. They'd been out for a bit of a day sesh. So if you let me know when you two are ready to play the video, and we'll show you a video of the young Nigel Bolt.
It's just loading. Hang on. Right, I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, so let's have a look at the young Nigel Bolt in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So on a day sesh with his uncles, and there's young Nigel Bolt.
Having a good time, isn't he?
He is. He's enjoying himself, yeah.
When he get out.
His uncles, though, loving that, aren't they?
He started laughing real quick.
This might be how he lost his leg. I don't think it is, but you never know.
He fell in a river.
So what are his uncles going to do to him now? I don't know. Young Nigel Bolt been seshing all day.
Look at him.
Go on, you could do it.
Don't go up the stairs, for God's sake.
You know he's gonna fly.
So yeah, so Nigel Bolt might have a little bit of a drinking problem, you know. But having said that, right, you know how like over the course of our podcasts, I've shown us videos of you two doing stuff and stuff like that, and you might know that I'm into music a bit, right? And I mean, I've not been playing music for a while, but I decided to get back into it, you know. Now, unfortunately, if you two aren't going to be able to hear this, it's not going to have the full effect. But I've been working a little bit with a few friends of mine on a song, and my friends are basically they're the main part of this video that I'm about to show. And I come in at the end. I've got a very important part of the song. So if you are able to hear this, guys, it'd be brilliant if you could. But if not, don't worry about it. So I just want to share with you a video of me doing a bit of a sing-song with some of my friends. So I'll send you the link. Let me know when you're ready to play it, and I'll put it on for the podcast.
Yeah, cool, yeah. What instrument do you play then?
Just my mouth, because I'm just singing. But no, I usually play guitar, but I've not played for quite a long time. But I can pretty much pick up any instrument and make a shitload of noise. Yeah, so
yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Steve,
I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
It's like a Christmas ball.
You gotta wait for my bit at the end, yeah.
You had a lot in band, didn't you? Bloody hell, you put them out of shame there, Dave.
I need to do another haircut video, don't I?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
You know, when you said I'm in part of a band, I was thinking, I didn't know Dave was very musical. Because I like doing a bit of singing, it usually winds Vicky up.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we'll start a band, but, you know, if that's your extent, I might have to...
Have you never seen... Hang on, you should know that I've played the guitar and sing, because I've played a video on our podcast.
Yeah! Oh, bloody hell. Oh, man.
See, I won't make it... I can't... Well, I used to be able to sing kind of not too bad. Always topless, though. But, yeah, just made you more comfortable. There is something else. I mentioned I've got a few videos to show you guys. You know what? I've got another one. Yeah. Now, James, just out of curiosity, you know when you're doing your racing league, do you race using a controller or do you race using a wheel?
Wheel.
A wheel. Okay, good stuff. Now, I'm going to show you guys a video here. I know that Steve's already seen it because Steve actually sent it to me. So, now, when you're racing, James, do you like your steering wheel to be light or heavy, or do you like it to be able to just give you all the little details of what the car's doing?
I'd say the heavier the better.
The heavier the better. Okay, well, I'll send you the link to this video. Let me know when you're ready to play it and see what you think about this guy's steering setup.
Let's have a look. Is it the one saying feedback, yeah?
It is, yeah.
It's just loading. Is it the one where... Oh yeah, that looks good.
So put that on then.
Just hold the thing.
So, yeah,
actually, don't let go. Don't let go. Don't let go.
Does look good, that.
Look at the speed on the screen, though.
Got it 15 minutes, yeah. Boys. Go
on, lad. What? You know the reason for that, don't you?
We'll just roll.
It's just hitting B.
17 now.
It's beaver or a ground dog.
Hit it.
Now, for anyone that doesn't know, the steering wheel that's using an OSW direct drive steering wheel, they are so powerful, it's ridiculous. Now, admittedly, that young lad's older brother, whose wheel it is, turned the feedback up to maximum for a laugh, and then said to his brother, "Don't let go." It's the kind of thing that we'd say to someone. But they're brilliant wheels. But yeah, I mean, you can actually get hurt. They're the kind of wheels that if you have a crash, you have to let go of the wheel, because if you don't, it can break your fingers. But they're fucking expensive though, like really expensive.
I think I might start. You know, when I've saved up enough to eat, then I'll save enough to get that wheel.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's see. I have got something else that I could show us. You know what? We've not really given James chance to plug his league just yet. So I think maybe would take the opportunity now to do it, seeing as I'm showing a few videos at the moment. Now, I'm going to send you two guys a link, which, again, if you can't hear it, is going to be very, very disappointing. Now, when I play this for the viewers, you won't be able to hear us viewers, because otherwise you won't be able to hear what's being said on the video. So Steve and James, while this video is playing, the viewers won't be able to hear us, as you may now know, but hopefully you'll be able to hear the audio on it anyway. So this is going to be a quick look at a part of James's racing league, and there is a link in the description for his racing league. So if you guys let me know when you are ready to play, and I shall put the video on the broadcast.
I'm ready, but if we're all quiet,
right, yeah,
I'm ready to hear it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Lap 9, and they're about to start lap 10. So on board now with Rico up behind AFC Guna going over the line. And look at them windmills, you know, they're very big here. I wonder, AFC Guna ran wide there. Maybe he was also getting distracted by the windmills down at the exit of turn 1. But yeah, here comes, fantastic move there from Rico up the inside of AFC Guna, put AFC Guna out of position, and he just took the place. That was like candy from a baby. That was absolutely fantastic. And next up the road is James Hulkenberg. I don't understand what he's doing. You know, he's out there on slicks. He's quite clearly pissing it down more than the time I was chucked out by Maria when she found out about me having an affair and paying for the child. But anyway, there goes James Hulkenberg. He's being very stupid, you know. That he's got his window wipers on, so he knows it's raining, you know. He knows that there's water on track, but you know, he's just being stupid, you know, staying out on slicks. I don't know what he's doing. But
so, James, would you like to explain your questionable driving there that Arnie was very judgmental about?
Well, this were it, right? It really did baffle me, right? I think I said last week, we always do the same weather settings, and then on the build-up to the race, I'll let people know what weather setting I'm going to put into each slot. So we normally put it about time. I think we do it something like speed times 10. So the normal speed of a cloud coming over and raining, it's that times 10. So normally you're looking at a time period of a certain weather slot to be about maximum 8 minutes. And I knew that the other 2 weather slots were sunny. So I thought, right, well, it's going to rain for 8 minutes max. I'm doing real shit. I might just see if I can keep a bit of temperature in the tyres and see if I can just like mosey round, and in 4 laps time it'll stop raining and then the grip will come back and the temperature will come back and I won't have to stop.
And did any of that happen?
No, I put on light rain, it felt a lot heavier, and yeah, it was just like, it was ridiculous. Like I think you could see there through turn 2, where I think it's like a long right-hander. Through there, literally like massive rivers running over the circuit. So even when it dried up, you got into turn 2 and it was like grip, no grip, grip, no grip, grip, and it was like fuck. Yeah, and it was fucking awful. But yeah, Arnie didn't do too bad commentating, did he?
No, he did pretty good. Now I have got another video. Right, I've got another video to show you guys, so I'm going to send you the link for it, and get it loaded, and let me know when you're ready to play, and I'll play it for the viewers as well. Once again, this is from James's Racing League. Now, as all us 3 know, sometimes when you're doing commentary, it isn't easy because you might have something that you want to say. The problem is every time you start going on about what you want to say, something happens. Yeah. Now I just happened to be watching the race earlier, and I thought, oh, you know what? I think I might record this bit, and then something really special happened, and that's what I'm going to be playing for you guys here now. So this is from James's Racing League. Like I said, there's a link in the description. Does very alternative style commentary on it, and this week was Alan Pardy and Arnold Schwarzenegger, although his name was written a little differently on the screen, but I won't spoil that surprise.
I kind of mucked up there. I should have said Schwarzenegger, but I forgot to say it. So.
Yeah. But it was pretty good.
By the time I realised it was already up on YouTube, I thought, forget it.
Yeah. Okay, so if you guys let me know when you're ready to watch it, and I shall pop it on for our viewers, and I think I might have a little listen to it myself as well. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, enjoy.
Now with Rodders, and it's absolutely saturated down to turn 2. And yeah, Alan, have you ever driven one of these 4GT cars?
No, I haven't, Arnie, but I've heard from Nigel, who has driven one of these cars. He says they are absolutely ballistic, and he said when he slammed on the brakes, he didn't feel it, mainly because he doesn't have a left leg. But you know, he's one who really does push the limits. Nigel, it's just such a shame he isn't here today, Arnie, because I know you're such a fan of his. And yeah, not only because of his racing career, but you're also a fan of his because of his... Oh, Dave the Hub! Oh! Just completely lost the rear end. Rodders just slammed into him. And yeah, that was... I wonder if Rodders may... or Dave the Hart may have damage. They may see him coming into the pit lane, Justin. So keep your eyes peeled, as well as your magazines of Arnie back in the 70s. Anyway, yeah, on board now with Rodders trying to hunt down Dave the Harp, who's pulling over to the left-hand side. Very uncharacteristic. Moved out of the way to let Rodders through. I think that may have been a slow-down penalty, so that means that he may have cut a corner during this lap. So he's had to relinquish fourth place to Rodders, and yeah, it's going to be a struggle to get it back because Rodders does not give up positions easy. There is Rico behind AFC Guna, and it looks to me as if I don't know if he's got a touch of damage. He looks to be struggling at this moment in time. But yeah, Arnie, you're not just a fan of Nigel's because of his racing career. You're also a fan of his because he set up shop here back in 1984 to make his chocolate factory. It's just a stone's throw away from the circuit. This circuit was actually built by Nigel. I think Grander looks like he was just about to go and drive over to the circuit, or the burger van. I'm not too sure, but he's just been beaten by the reserve, which is Tony. He's just come back for this one race as he knew there was a spot available, and Dre was driving that car, but I'm afraid he has been replaced. And there is the race leader. There is Sart Neos. He's lost it down at the chicane. Can he get back on track before his teammate? Yes, he can.
Oh no! Oh, he just managed to get it under his teammate, Satch. It's just spun down to the chicane, and that's what Iceman up in the P2. So Iceman just got a free position there, but Sarneo's nearly completely lost the race there. He spun off before the chicane, but he's managed to hold on to the race lead. But yeah, as you were saying before all that action started, I'm not just a fan of Nigel Bolt because of his racing career, but also he made this chocolate factory here at Zolder, and yeah, an absolutely fantastic place to visit. Plenty of sweet treats, you know.
Dave's completely lost it!
I cannot believe it. James Alkenberg just smacked into his teammate who spun Dave, you know. Oh, I cannot believe what I just saw there. But yeah, Riders coming up behind Dave, very strange. I think Riders must have had a little bit of an incident as well because he overtook Dave just a few minutes ago, and now he's back behind Dave, so there must have been something. Dave Arp is going into the pit lane. You can see there is dry spots here, there, and everywhere around the circuit. Could he be going for slicks? I don't think so. But yeah, I'm not just a fan of Nigel because of his racing career. I'm also a fan because of his chocolate factory. And yeah.
Yes, Nigel does make the best chocolate in all of Switzerland. And yeah, Arnie, I've got to agree with you. It is fantastic chocolate he produces. And I believe you're also a bit partial to a few biscuits with his chocolate.
You know, I think it was back in 1990, McVitie's approached Nigel and said, you know, you make the best Swiss chocolate, and we need the best chocolate on top of our biscuit products. And yeah, they got the rights to make sure that Nigel's chocolates on top of the chocolate hobnobs and the chocolate digestives, you know, so that's just a great thing, you know, for Nigel. And you know, if it wasn't for that chocolate factory, there wouldn't have been the funding for Nigel to go ahead and create this such an amazing racetrack here at Zalda. But after he made the race circuit, he came into some more financial difficulties, you know, because he overspent on the racing circuit. You know, it was money well spent, because we're here enjoying all the racing going on. You can see Rico, you know, struggling, going on the grass, and that's why we like to see more grass than runoff areas. We're not a fan of that, and there's some gravel out there, so that when they, you know, make a mistake, it's a big time mistake. And there was Sad Neo's leading the race, drifting through turn 3, absolutely on the limit there. Fantastic driving, don't you think, Alan?
Yeah, indeed, Arnie. Absolutely fantastic. He's on the ragged edge, and he's...
Keep Satch behind as we're heading into the final stages of this race. I don't think Iceman's going to be able to hang on, as Iceman is just not got the grip compared to Satch. And here we go, down the start-finish straight, the start lap 18. Iceman go defensive, he's wiggling around, he's trying to say, you know, fuck off. I can't deal with this pressure anymore. A bit like Lou Ferrigno and me, you know, two titans going head to head. And here goes Satch. He's going to try and do it around the outside. I think he will be able to, in front of the chocolate factory where the McVitie's hobnobs are made. But no, Iceman, he manages to muscle him out, you know. He says, hey, you know, look at the bicep on this. Here, suck this, you know. He managed to blow him off, and yeah, he's kept Satch behind him, but he's only got, you know, this lap to hold on to P2, as Sad Neos is definitely off down the road, on board now with Satch. Can he try make it, Alan? I don't know.
I don't either, Arnie. I don't either. This is really close between Satch and Iceman coming up towards the chicane. Iceman's gone quite deep into the chicane, and Satch is really thinking about the exit of the corner. This could be absolutely anybody's guess for P2. I wouldn't want to bet on it, but it looks to me as if Iceman is struggling, coming down towards the hairpin. And oh, that was a bit dirty there from Iceman. He left the door wide open. Jesus has parked up. Jesus has parked up.
Jesus has parked up.
What did you think of that? I mean, I thought that little block there were a bit dirty, because he left the door wide open, and then as soon as he started, the car behind started looking as if to say, I might go for this. Then he moves, and I'm like, oh.
I'm not going to comment on that. To be honest, I just watched the race earlier. Well, I was watching and listening. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I mean, there's some even better bits than what I showed there, but I only showed those bits because of the hobnob challenge, and I just realised while I was watching that I spelt challenge wrong. But yeah, because I watched it to see if you'd said hobnobs, right? And there was a certain bit I was like, oh, I like this story. I like what's happening here. I'll start recording this. And then 2 or 3 minutes in, I was like, hobnobs, right, he's done it, sorted. But no, there's some really good bits of the commentary that did have me chuckling. It was very good.
Thing is, though, Dave, we need to come up for a word for the next one.
We do. I did think of one earlier, right? It's not one word, it's two. Right, so for anyone that's wondering what was happening there with the Hobnob Challenge, me and Steve gave James a word he had to get into his commentary. We did it 2 weeks ago, and he completely forgot. So I was kind of hoping you'd forgot this week, but no, you did very well. You actually got it in twice. So I was thinking earlier, what word could we give James to put into his next one? And I think I came up with it.
Go on then.
But I said it's 2 words.
Go on then.
Anal leakage. So
watch the subscribers go from 72 to 0.
I'm sure Justin Levers can come up with something in the pit lane.
Anal what? Bleaching?
Leakage.
Leakage, right?
Anal leakage. But the thing is, I mean, the first video that I showed with you driving in the wet, I showed that for one simple reason, and that is for anyone that. Well, you're taking the piss out of yourself. I mean, you're doing the comedy, you're taking the piss out of yourself. And that kind of shows to everybody or anyone that races in your league, look, if I take the piss out of you, don't take it personal. It's just for a fun effect. I'll take the piss out of myself as well. And that is something that I do like. Because, I mean, I know
it's easy to do, though, isn't it? It's an easy target.
An easy target. He is when he drives in the wet on slicks. But, I mean, something I always said to people when I was doing commentary with was, look, if I fuck up, pull me up on it. Take the piss out of me for it. Because I'll do it to you. It's funny. And you should do that. It makes it more interesting and more exciting.
Do you want to tell people where we got the name for our podcast from?
Well, the name of the podcast came from the amount of times I said, I'll tell you what on commentaries, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But,
about 30 odd times in the space of about an hour and a half.
Yeah, that is true. But no, I must admit, I have enjoyed watching it. It's a shame that Nigel Bolt wasn't there, but at the same time,
it was way up. Oh, bloody hell! Jesus!
I thought that was the dog for a minute. Then I realised.
No, my wheel just turned on by accident. Whoops.
Well, did Steve tell you about the odd problem he had with his PlayStation recently?
No, I haven't.
No. It's a weird one. Middle of the night, alright, I've not been on the PlayStation for a good 45 minutes or so. I'm lying in bed, chilling out, trying to go to sleep. I'm in the same room as the PlayStation, and all of a sudden, it decides to turn itself on and eject the disc.
Are you sure your dog didn't just touch it?
Dog's not. No, it wasn't in the same room as us, so definitely not that. So the thing is, right, let me just start and backtrack a little bit. I didn't know it was the PlayStation at first. I heard a noise and thought, what the fuck was that? Because it was pitch black, and I'm like, sitting there thinking, there's nothing in my room that makes that noise on its own. And it wasn't until the next morning when I realised there was a disc hanging out of my PlayStation. So, didn't think anything of it. I turned the PlayStation off. And it was the next day I was on the PlayStation, and all of a sudden, halfway through playing a game, and the game I'm playing, it ejects the disc while I'm playing. And I'm like, why is it doing that? In fact, actually, it wasn't the next day. So I was at yours the next day, wasn't it, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling Dave about what happened, and all the time I was at Dave's, nothing happened to it at all. In fact, the station hadn't even been switched on.
Yeah.
I took my station round to Dave's, just in case we wanted to do a bit of 1v1 on something. And we didn't even... I set it up, but didn't turn it on. And it wasn't until I picked the PlayStation up to unplug the power cord out the back, and all of a sudden, the disc ejects out of it. And I wasn't touching I wasn't anywhere near the button on the front, so I had a hand on the side of the station.
Is your button on the front a physical button, or is it like a heat?
Nah, it's a heat button. It's one of the first generation ones. Well, anyway, that's when I mentioned it to Dave, and the next day was the day I was playing the game, and it ejects a disc out of it. But it wouldn't allow me to put the disc back in again. I had to reboot it, boot it back up again, obviously, and then put the disc in and start playing again. And then it ejected the disc again about another hour or so later, and I'm like, what the hell? And I just couldn't understand why it was doing it. Dave managed to Google it and sent me a link, and there's a screw inside. When you take the top cover off, the shiny bit of the cover off, the screw is pretty much invisible to see, and you have to look through the vents. Once you take the top off, it's right on the side edge, on the left hand side as you're looking at it, on down the left side edge, and there's a little screw, but it's a black headed screw that's plastic, and you're looking through black plastic vent, and you've got to put your screwdriver through to it. And apparently if this screw is loosened, it's the way that when there's power, when the power cord's in the back, when you loosen the screw, it's the engineer's manual way of ejecting a disc if the button's broke. So if that screw comes loose, it thinks it's the engineer trying to manually eject the disc. So I had to put a screw in there and tighten it up, and I was there twizzling around for ages thinking this isn't tightening up. And then I realised it was one of those types of screws where it's sprung loaded like a medicine bottle, where you had to push it in and turn. You had to put quite a fair bit of pressure on it, and it was quite loose. I had to tighten it up, and it's been fine for about a week since.
Yeah, fucking weird though.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So if you know anyone that's selling a PlayStation as faulty because it keeps ejecting discs,
All on
buy it, fix it, and sell it on more expensive.
Buy it, do up the screw, sell it. Yeah. Do you want to play a game?
Can do. We'll play a game.
I want to play a game, yeah.
Do you want to play a game? Well, usually when someone says that, it's Steve playing a game on James. I think we do things a little bit differently this time. I think we do James playing a game on Steve to begin with.
Great.
Or should we say, Dave, James getting revenge on Steve?
I think it could be, because I must admit, I've no idea what you would title this, because I ain't got a fucking clue what the theme would be.
Talk about.
What is it? Say again. Random what?
Random shit we talk about.
There you go, Steve. So the feature of your game this week is random shit we talk about. So it could be absolutely fucking anything.
All right. I'm quite good at talking random shit. So go on.
Well, for anyone that doesn't know what's about to happen, we're basically going to play a picture game where I'll show on the live stream a cropped image, and I'll send it to Steve and James as well. James knows what it is, Steve doesn't, and Steve has to guess what it is. And if he gets it right, well done to him. If he gets
and I'm guessing it's random shit.
So I'll just read the message.
Don't take it too literally.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I took a load of my floaters and
no, that would have been good.
What day of the week was this?
Yeah, you might have to do that one day. You know what? Now that you've said that, Steve, right, James, next week your game for Steve is guess what day the shit was from, which means you've got to take a picture of every shit you have, and he's got to guess what day it was from. That'd probably be the most disgusting game we could play. But it'd probably be quite funny. It'd be like watching that dodgy program where there's that old woman that goes, "Let's take a look at your poo," to see how unfit you are. Dave the Arp's asking, how do you fix a wild T300 then? Well, what you do is you go back in time, find Sarah Connor, wipe out all the Terminators, and then it's not a problem. Okay, on
about, is it a steering wheel called T300?
It is, yeah. I do know. I was taking the piss. I don't know. Too serious, James. Too serious. Okay, on to the first picture there. So I'm going to pop this up on the screen. So, random shit, Steve. What is this? When I can find it to send it to you. What is this?
Well, it's a picture of a face. Ding ding, points for me.
Whose face?
What do you mean, whose face? Well, it ain't mine, is it?
you got to work out whose face it is.
Oh, I don't know. It looks a bit like my Auntie Pam's.
It's not. Pam will be quite pleased, though, I reckon.
I don't know. Oh, is it Max Verstappen's sister?
No. Do you like jelly?
No, not really.
That's a shame. I'll ask you again. do you like? I can't even. Hang on. It's all I've got. Do you like jelly?
No.
G'day shit at this, innit, James? Shall we put him out his misery? Are you sure? Are you sure you don't like jelly? Jelly Lalwell.
Oh, really?
No points for you then, Steve. See?
No.
And now that you've seen that one, you can tell that this is going to be James's revenge. Okay,
Yeah.
on to the next one then. Who or what is this?
No, that's Max Verstappen's sister.
Is he right, James?
It's either that or it's the moon.
You are correct. It is Max Verstappen's sister. I don't even know what her name is. Probably.
Do you know what, right? I would recognise her more than any Formula 1 car this season. Because she's been on TV more than any of them.
Yeah, that's true. Been on TV more than the Williams has, anyway. Okay, on to the next one. Good luck.
What? Brendan Hartley.
Is he right, James?
Oh, he's close. Very close.
Okay.
Am I supposed to guess again, or am I sticking with Brendan Hartley? I'll stick with Brendan Hartley. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
You're wrong with Brendan Hartley. Guess again, Muppet.
Okay, in that case, I will guess at David Coulthard. No, Mark Webber.
So which one are you going for? Hartley, Webber or Coulthard?
Webber.
Webber. Okay, let's put him out of his misery.
Really? Oh, okay.
I saw the colours on my lunch. I thought he'll never get this.
I like that. He'd never get this. I'm having that. Okay, on to the next one then. Oh, helps if I send it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm waiting. You want to know the car?
You'd have to ask James.
Or the person driving it?
I'd just go. I'd say name a car. Yeah, name a car.
Ferrari.
Ferrari? Are you going to make him stick with that answer, James?
Yeah, well, I also want the name of this Ferrari driver.
Berger.
Okay, so it's a Ferrari, Gerhard Berger.
I bet you. And hang on.
Yeah, I give you an extra point if it's Berger.
It's a DTM, isn't it?
No, it's not a DTM.
Go on then. I'll stick with my original answer.
So was it Ferrari and Berger? Okay, Ferrari and Berger is what Steve's going for. Let's see if he's still hungry after this one.
You changed the colour on it, or was it just really dark?
It's just dark.
Yeah, Tyrrell.
I don't know how the hell you got Ferrari from that.
Black rear wing on a Goodyear tyre.
There's blue rear wing.
It
Oh,
looks
I don't know.
black.
That's your old eyes. Okay, on to the next one. Tricky one, this.
Hmm. Because I'm reckoning that's a hand of someone that didn't actually win the race, that's just holding a trophy.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Ooh.
I'm just going to guess at Rubens Barrichello.
Have you read what the trophy is?
Yeah, Sao Paulo.
Okay. And you're going with Rubens Barrichello. I can tell
It says win, yeah.
I'm going to tell you you're wrong. and I'm going to reveal it
fine.
before you can have another guess.
I'm pretty sure Ruben's never won at Sao
Brazil.
Paulo.
No.
That's why I said,
From the year
That's
he
a-
won the championship and then didn't, I believe. Which is why he looked so miserable after winning the race.
he would have been my next guess.
Okay, on to the next one then. James has been rather cruel with these pictures, to be fair. I like it. I like his style. If you get this one, I think you get double points. Because, yeah. Good luck.
Mika Hakkinen.
It's a good guess, but it's not right.
David Coulthard.
It's a good guess, but it's not right.
Come on then, show me who it is.
I bet you're loving this, aren't you, James? Proper stitched him up here.
My next guess would have been Paul Pescasolido.
James probably wouldn't even know who he is.
No. Bottas.
Now you know what it's like to be on the end of pictures. You've got no fucking clue what it is. Okay, on to the next one. I think I'd be disappointed with you if you don't get this one.
Brendan Hartley.
Any comments, James?
I'd say that's well done.
He didn't want to say well done then, did he?
No.
that were yeah. I had to admit it, but at the same time,
Fuck you, you bastard. Yeah. Okay, on to the next one. I like the way that James has gone full ball, like, offensive with this.
well, Steve does like the a picture of somebody's sweaty ass crack and go, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
So,
Ross Brawn.
Ross Brawn. Is Ross Brawn gonna wear a Rolex t-shirt? The answer is no.
Ooh. Charlie Whiting.
Nope.
Chase Carey.
No, you could keep going.
Okay.
It's Jappy Stewart.
Jappy.
Okay, on to the next one. Oh, that's the wrong picture. Hang on a second. I've got to send these the other way round so anyone that's watching will know the answer.
Let me jump onto the YouTube.
Don't, no cheating, no cheating. Dock points off you for that.
Jenson Button.
Do you want any more information off him, James?
yeah. Can you give me the year?
We're in 2018.
No, the year. The year of the picture.
I'm thinking now.
2007. 6.
Wrong. I'm gonna give you the point anyway because you got Jenson Button. Oops, having a bit of a technical issue here. But yeah, it was 2005, and he hit the wall of champions.
I thought that was too soon.
Surprising how long ago it is, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, on to the next one. Now, James will have to let you know if you are right or wrong with this one, because Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were your answers, Steve?
He's not given one yet.
I've not answered yet. Marquez.
And what I really want to know is the car and year.
Mario Marquez in last year's Toro Rosso.
Fucking Google that.
No, I know that Mario Marquez tested in last year's Toro Rosso.
No, you're wrong.
Who is it then, James?
It's Marc Marquez in.
Marc Marquez. I said
Not Mario
whatever,
Marquez,
fucking
yeah.
It's Marc Marquez in the Red Bull from 2013, resprayed as a Toro Rosso.
Oh, Steve thought he was so confident with that one. Got the name wrong, got the car wrong.
Well, lucky Steve.
Yeah,
Oh,
unlucky.
God, we're close.
No, you weren't.
You are.
Now, surprise! I've got a bit of a surprise for you, though. There's one more.
Come on, then.
But even James doesn't know about this one. So, what's this one?
That's the same picture.
No, it's not.
You've just sent me the same picture.
No, I haven't. I've sent you a new picture. At least that's what my computer's showing me. I've sent you a new picture. I'll send it again.
You've sent me the same picture.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Okay, now you've sent me another one. Okay, my phone's freezing up on the pictures. Hang on.
Yeah, see, it's not me fucking doing shit wrong. It's your phone. Fucking call you Claire Williams. Oh, come on, I want to know.
Hang on, wait, I'm trying to click on it. Is it Santa?
No,
Is it Dad?
no.
I don't know, I ain't got the foggiest.
Random shit we talk about.
I don't know, James. Bonus 2 points if you know it.
I know it.
So James knows. So you offered a bonus 2 points if James knows it. Come on then, James. If you think you know it, what is it?
It's Bella licking me to death.
It is Bella licking James to death. Well done. James has finally got one of the pictures of himself right. And Steve, you just given James an extra 2 points. Well done.
It's alright. It needs them bonus 2 points.
How many points did, out of a possible 11 points, because one were you could have got 2 points.
Steve
How
got
many did you get?
Steve got 3 right, and James got, so for all of the ones that Steve got wrong and the one that James got right at the end, James gets 9 points. So James, you absolutely fucking annihilated him there.
Time for my revenge then.
Oh really? You think you're going to get revenge on James then, do you?
Yeah. James, do you want to play a game?
Oh yeah, come on then, bring it in.
Come on then.
Alright then, Steve, have you got, if you're going to be, we're going to be showing James some pictures, he's got to work, is there a theme to your pictures?
Movie motors.
Movie motors. Come on.
Okay, movie motors then. So here's the first one. I shall get ready to send it to you guys. Okay. So then, James, movie motors. What motor? Yeah. What movie?
Right, I'm just looking at the YouTube live stream, so it should pop up in a second. Right, here we go. 1, 2, 1. Movie motor. That is it. Are they cars or are they just
vehicles?
Steve, are you going to answer it?
What? Sorry?
If you're going to be on the podcast, at least be listening.
Are they just cars, or are they random vehicles as well?
Why don't you have a guess at this first one? You might find out.
Well, it don't look like a fucking car, mate.
Well, have
So
a
I'm
guess
gonna
at something that's not a car.
It looks like something from Thunderbirds. But I still don't have a clue.
Thunderbirds, 1, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Tracy's been having like 1 million kids.
Yeah.
I really don't know, mate. I ain't got a clue.
I'm going to give you a hint. Think disaster movie.
Disaster movie.
Star Wars.
If you'd have said episode 8, you'd done, yeah. We're going to have to put him out of his misery.
I'm not helping him, I need some points.
Boom.
Ow.
Put him out of his misery. Bit of a cruel one, this, to start off with, to be fair. And interestingly, I actually watched it a couple of days ago. I've seen it before, but I watched it again a couple of days ago.
If James is watching the live stream, he's waiting for it to come on.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah,
live stream.
I've got another 5 seconds before it pops up. Hang on. Well, I've only just heard the countdown theme. Oh, here we go. It's a helicopter from oh, you know what, Steve? Please, I get ridiculous now. Like I know a fucking random helicopter from a movie. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say San Andreas is like pop culture, you know, it's really stuck in the zeitgeist. I've never even seen that movie.
Okay, on to the next one.
I know why.
Good movie, to be fair, James.
I don't know why Steve's watched that movie. It's got that woman with big eyes and big boobs. And
Yeah. Alexandra Daddario.
the Dario.
Daddario. Stunner. And she does a nude scene with Woody Harrelson in a different film. Oh. Yeah. Okay, James, on to the next one.
Any of these vehicles, are they just going to be random fucking, like, next one will be a cop car. Which movie is this? Right, it's a tractor. I mean, this could be fucking Robot Wars for all I know. Looks like something from Thunderbirds, but I don't have a clue. I'll say the mole from Thunderbirds, but I think I'm wrong.
You are wrong, unfortunately.
He's going to kick himself.
Is it from a movie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Quite a big movie as well.
Oh, Wally.
I've got to give him that one. I've got to give it to... Yeah, I've got to give him... He got the answer. He got the answer. It was Wally. I quite enjoyed that film as well. I did like that one. See, James, you thought these were going to be impossible. Okay, on to the next one. This one's just cruel. Sorry, James. I had nothing to do with this. Well, I gave him the idea, but I didn't pick the pictures.
I'm still looking at Wally, hang on. Oh, I know that. I think.
I like the confidence in that. I got a minute.
Is it the Batmobile?
I don't know if I could say.
I'll say it's the Batmobile from The Dark Knight Rises, or The Dark Knight.
That tyre is just...
Too much of a giveaway, isn't it?
Yeah, even if it was on a racetrack.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised that it was on a racetrack, to be fair, but fair play. See, James got another one.
It went around Silverstone, but that looks too sunny to be Silverstone.
It does, doesn't it? Okay, on to the next one. I'm looking at these and I just feel sympathy. It's not a cop car.
I'm still waiting, hang on.
Excuse me. I didn't think about doing cop cars because that could have been so many different films.
Mm.
That could be anything. I'll just say Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro.
You know what? It's a good guess, but I don't think you're right. I'm going to give you a hint. You have seen this film within the last year. Unless it is from Taxi. Steve, is it from Taxi?
No.
Okay. In that case, you have seen this film in the last year.
I don't remember what I did yesterday. Struggling, guys.
Let's see if I can give you another hint without giving it away. Blue sandals for special time.
You can't help him, DP. That's just not.
Oh, I won't give you any, but if you can't get it from that.
No, I don't get it. Blue sandals, what?
Okay, no points for this one. Go on there, Steve. Put him out of his misery.
Deadpool. Taxi from Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
DP, Mr. DP.
Yeah. Oh, you bastard. So even with you saying don't help him, DP, you gave him a fucking, you sneaky bastard. Gave him a hint. Yeah, and the blue sandals from when he cracks one off. Okay. On to the next one then. I don't even know if you'll get anywhere close to this.
I'm still seeing a taxi. Oh, it's coming on now. What the fuck is that? TA? I said TA.
Looks like it.
That's a vehicle.
Yep. Part of a vehicle.
Looks like something from the 70s.
You'd be about right.
The aeroplane.
I think you're going to have to give him a point there, don't you?
You know what? I think you're right.
And I'm get this, I've never seen that movie.
Haven't you?
I just guessed because I thought 70s, looks like a airplane.
O.J. Simpson at his best.
Well, we know what he was at his worst.
Before he murdered all Mr. Crew.
Okay, on to the next one. If you want to hit him with this one, James, I would not stop you. Because this is, yeah.
Right, you can get fucked, mate.
I thought this was the most obvious one out of all of them, to be fair.
Aston Martin DB5.
It's a good guess, but it's not right. You know what, you're gonna...
The only thing that made me think that were the bonnet. It's got that little hole.
Oh yeah,
on
yeah.
top of the bonnet, that's the only thing.
You'd have been closer if you'd have said Knight Rider, mate.
Oh, Night Rider. I thought Night Rider were black. That looks great.
Winding up.
You're going to kick yourself a little bit with this one, unfortunately. Wait for him to see it. Wait for him to see it.
What's that, Bella? Yeah, I've got as much clue as Bella's got.
It's cruel.
That ain't the proper. You know why that is? That ain't the proper Thunderbird. I know it's a movie, but that ain't real Thunderbirds. Real Thunderbirds is not wires hanging from it.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve, you're just cheating there.
I'd love that though. I'd love to lay in bed and then my alarm goes off. I don't have to do anything. Bed rotates. I slide down, clothes fly on, and I slide down into my car, into the cockpit, and away I go. I would love that.
Have you seen Colin Firth's ejecting bed?
No, I don't have.
Right.
That is funny. That.
Colin Firth, he does some weird shit on YouTube, and he made an ejecting bed, and basically it's a bed that tilts you out of bed. You have to find it and send it on YouTube, because it doesn't quite work out. It does for the Thunderbirds, but it's still quite interesting. Okay, on to the next one. Now, unfortunately, James, I can't help you with this next one, because even though I've seen both pictures, I ain't got a fucking clue what this is from.
Yeah, it won't even be a fucking movie. It'll just made it up. It'll just seen something in a car park and gone, this'll fuck.
Yeah, fuck it, this'll do.
And then it'll like Photoshop some really shit photos, like the rocket.
I mean, I really have. I mean, I've seen the full picture and I've no fucking idea. But what I will say though is, James, in Steve's game, it's neck and neck, so you're not doing too bad.
What's that? Their shot or something like the shit one. What's that? What is that? Have you just give me a clue here, Dave? Have you heard of the movie?
I don't even know what movie it's from. You know what? I could tell you it is an aeroplane, but I ain't got a fucking clue what film it's from, mate, at all.
Dave, read what it says on the back of the aeroplane.
I did. It didn't help.
Let me guess. I'll go with. I'm trying to remember the name. Of the, is it a James Bond movie?
No. I know what it is now. That there's no way in a million years he's getting that. I mean, I had the pictures. Let's see if I can give.
James Bond. I don't have a clue.
It's got a character in it, an actor in it that is also in Men in Black, and he's not black.
Right. I don't know many Tommy Lee Jones movies other than Batman Forever and that other one with Harrison Ford, Fugitive.
So close.
Oh, I fucking know it. Air Force One.
No.
Oh,
Show
Lee Jones wanted Air Force One.
Show him the full picture.
You see where my brain went?
Yeah.
Wait, The Fugitive, Harrison Ford. Air Force.
What? Yeah, you know what that reminded me of? That was a Days of Thunder moment. That was, James.
Show him the full picture and see if he's still able to get it.
I don't have a clue.
Read the back of the plane.
To be fair, this is the prop from the movie that you can actually still visit and go inside of. So it does look a bit older now than what it was when it was in the movie. Yeah.
Or as we say at work, aircon.
It's not. It's, you know what? It's not the film I thought it was.
What was you thinking?
U.S. Marshals with Tommy Lee Jones in it.
No wonder
Nope.
I got it bloody wrong. If you just said like, oh, he's a bit of an eccentric actor. He used to be big in the 90s, and now he's in dog shit movies. Or if you just said Face Off, I'd have got it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how Steve expected me to get Con Air from that when it says United States Marshals on it, and I very nearly watched a film 2 days ago that was called U.S. Marshals with Tommy Lee Jones in it. That's my defence anyway. Okay, on to the next one. This one a bit easier, I reckon.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
I haven't got it yet. I'm up now, right. Terminator 2, Harley Davidson with Arnie on it.
Yep.
You can smash that one out of the ballpark.
Head to the bone.
Okay. From perhaps too easy for James. Sorry. I feel sorry. I'm saying sorry, and I'm only the middleman here.
I'm not saying sorry.
No, this has got to be the worst picture of them all. If James gets this without any help, I will be amazed.
Coming up now. Fuck off.
Now you know why I said sorry.
I hate for all I know.
I can give you a clue. Steve wouldn't want me to, but I'm willing to, because I mean there is no way in a million years.
Any clue you give him is going to make it way too easy. And he's already winning.
I've got no clue, Steve.
One of your favourite films. One of.
I'm feeling quite generous with that pictures with Alan Prost. I should have really zoomed in.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Whose pubic hair is this?
Yeah, yeah.
It was always wet.
It was always wet.
It was always
That's
wet.
my clue. We're always.
It was always wet.
Is it a car or not?
No.
I'll say Jaws.
What's the name of the boat?
The boat from Jaws, the Orca.
No.
Fuck off! It is. It is. Now, what I want to know is, I put it up on the live stream. Is it up on the live stream for you yet, James?
Yeah, it just popped up. Yeah.
Oh right, okay. So I'll give you the point for that then. You did
on.
it. I can't believe Steve. No.
I just thought he'd get it from the colours.
On the bit where it was like on the back of the boat and it were going down, or if you just shown like a wire or something hanging up, I'd have probably got it. But it was so far zoomed in, no chance.
Yeah.
Like if you just shown the very front of the boat, you know, the little walkway. If you just cut that with the water, I'd have got it like that.
That's why he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well,
Next one's easier though.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't recognise them engines.
Should we give him a clue?
Yeah, give me a clue, because I don't recognise them engines.
Alright. It's not a spaceship.
Oh, that's a nasty clue, that is. But it is right, it isn't a spaceship.
Even if I tell him the name of what the name of the ship is, I don't even know if he'd know the film. Or what the ship is known as. They might do.
I don't think I know.
I'll go with Star Trek then, because if I don't know it, it's some sci-fi.
Okay, it's a helicarrier. Helicarrier.
From what?
That's what you need to guess.
You'll know it when you see it.
Helicarrier. Oh, the only thing I can think of is like Avengers or something like that. They're on like a bit of a flying fortress thing. Might be wrong.
I think we might have to give him the point for that, Steve.
Only after a big clue.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
If you'd have shown the jet, the actual rotary blade bit, I probably would have got it.
That's why I didn't show you the rotary blade bit.
Jet engines at the back, I had no clue.
I must admit, when I first saw the jet engines, I wasn't sure what ship it was. Okay, there's a couple more to go. Well, there's more than a couple, but I think you fucked up on this one, Steve.
I had to make one easy, didn't I? I was just going to zoom in on the number plate.
I'm just reading some of the YouTube comments. I don't know which picture it was from, but Dave the Art put, it's James Bond's Batmobile from Superman 3. I like it.
Right. Well, that's a number plate on a very old motorbike. I don't recognise a motorbike.
Oh, you are so going to kick yourself on this one.
I bet Dave the Art knows this one. He can't. I think he can't. I don't agree with James watching the live stream.
So he's not getting any more guesses on this one.
Can I have one guess? Come on. Has it got a cart?
Has it got what?
A side cart.
No, it hasn't. Not in this picture. It's not.
Right.
It's too late.
I've got. Oh.
You've just seen it.
Seen it. Oh,
Probably.
I wouldn't have got it. But yeah, iconic. But I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
The Great Escape.
Yeah, if you just showed me Mustang from Bullet, I'd have. Oh, yes. That's a
Right,
proper.
delete that one, Dave. Don't put that one in.
Oh Jesus! I've just seen the next one. You're not getting this, James. Sorry. Well, you might.
He knows his spaceships. He should know this one.
Yeah, not from that picture.
So I'm keeping an eye on YouTube now because I don't want him guessing with somebody else's answer.
I've got no clue with that. Absolutely no clue.
I'll give you a clue. It's not Star Wars. It's not Star Trek.
Is it Alien?
You just narrowed it down to one.
No. I've narrowed it down. I've narrowed it down to 6.
I'm thinking the Nostromo.
Oh, sorry. What was that, James?
The Nostromo from Alien, Ridley Scott's one.
See now, Steve, I narrowed it down to 6, and he still got it right. I believe.
Yep.
He knows his stuff. Although I did make it a little easier, but to be fair, from that picture, I think even the designer of the ship wouldn't have got it.
I don't think I'd have got it. I don't think I would have got it.
Okay, on to the next one. Thunderbirds, all go!
It hasn't come up yet. I'm still like a minute. I think I'm about 30 seconds behind.
You have to start looking in the chat that we're putting them up. You can get a bit more time to look at them.
Airplane.
By the way, you know what? Dave the Arp did get it. Steve McQueen, Great Escape.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, well done, Dave. I can't think of what on earth jumbo jet that could be. Silver.
Looks like a train to me.
It doesn't to me.
I don't think I'd say a train.
What does it look like, James?
Black, a white, and red and silver jumbo jet. I don't know. I really don't.
Okay, I shall reveal the answer to you. We'll wait half a minute for the answer.
No, give Dave the Arp the chance to write the answer in.
Oh, bloody hell.
Airplane 2.
Solid.
What a wanker.
Don't worry, Steve. You keep laughing. I'm
Me and James are going to work together, I think, for the next one.
going to make some fucking movies that don't exist. You're like, oh, okay. Or just some really obscure foreign film.
I'm not sure this is an easy one either.
Is it Dukes of Hazzard?
No.
I have seen this film over and over and over and over again so many times.
Porky and Bandit?
No, it's a good guess though. There's almost a connection with last weekend's race as well. I mean, I'm like Steve. I've seen it so many times. It's like fucking the TV channel Dave, isn't it? It's always on repeat.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue.
Show him the full picture, see if he still gets it. And just in case he doesn't, we've got a third picture.
Now, to be honest, I didn't get it from the first or second picture.
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
I think he's going to kick himself.
Yeah.
I've got something in my head saying RoboCop, but...
What?
RoboCop? No. Not far off.
I've got no clue.
No, RoboCop's not been repeated as many times as this.
No. waiting for that moment.
Oh God. Yeah, a bit before my time, Steve.
Groundhog Day.
That's what it was like for James looking at those
I'm
pictures.
gonna get some like movies from 50s and be like that. Yeah, good luck, mate. I'm gonna get like the car off of It's a Wonderful Life.
I think that's.
Like, what movie is this from?
I think that's got to be probably the most evil picture game we've ever had.
But
That is pure evil.
But alright, for your first few pictures, you kept going, oh, is it something from Thunderbirds? And then the Thunderbirds came up, and there was nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I thought that Thunderbirds one would be just so easy for you, just the colour of it.
Now, interestingly, I've got that scored at 7-7, which means I've missed scoring one. But that still means that James is way out in front. So James kicks arse this week, even with that difficult round. So yeah.
So I need to make them harder, James.
No, you don't.
Well, I think what it is though, you gotta give me a chance, I'll have it. But if you come up with some obscure movies that were made about 40 years before we're born, then you're gonna win, aren't you?
I know, but some of them are really iconic movies.
For you.
Yeah, for
Hang
you.
on. Jaws, Terminator, Con Air, Thunderbirds.
All of them, I'd probably say Jaws.
Con Air.
Airplane was iconic in its day. I'll tell you what I did watch recently, and I talked about it previously on a podcast a week or so ago, but I decided to actually watch the film. I watched Apollo 13 again a couple of nights ago. Brilliant film, that. Brilliant film.
The sequence of it, of them getting in the rocket to it setting off and getting out of the atmosphere, fucking amazing. And exactly the same with the re-entry sequence.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. And that's one of the movies where I know the outcome of the movie, but it can still make me well up.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh God, what if they didn't make it?
But as if something like that would happen in real life.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I think like as well on the re-entry, because you've seen for about a full hour and freaking their ass off with like fucking frozen food.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they do the re-entry and all the panels are melting and it's dripping, you're like, and the power of it blasting through the atmosphere, you're like sat there just going, fucking yes.
Yeah.
Like I'd love something a little bit like Apollo 13, but in Star Wars. I fucking love that.
Well, the thing with Apollo 13 as well, I mean, there's a couple of bits that are made up, but like sort of 98% of it is real. And it's little things like just before re-entry, where one of the engineers turns around to Gene Kranz and says they're still looking a bit shallow, control, meaning that their entry is a bit shallow and they could still bounce off into space. And Gene says, is there anything that we can do about it? He says, no. I said, right, well, let's not tell them then. And you can understand why. It's like, look, if they're going to bounce off and go into space and die, let's not fucking panic them. If it happens, it happens. There's nothing we can do.
Exactly.
But
it is a fantastic movie. I love it as well when that bloke's coming in, is like, oh, the president wants estimates on on whether they're gonna live or not, and he just fucking flips, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. It is.
Give me the
And then the other one turns around and goes, tell him 3-1. But
yeah.
I mean, it is a really good film.
I do like him as an actor. He is good in Westworld as well.
Yeah, he was also very good in The
Rock
Abyss. I don't know.
Tom
Yes,
evil.
yes, he was. He was the baddie in The Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. He should be in more movies. He's good.
Yeah. He is a very good actor, and you're right. He is good in Westworld, but Westworld is fucking weird.
I've given up with it.
I had, but I think I'm one episode away from being up to date. I watched it earlier today before we came live, actually, and there was stuff that happened in it, and I was just like, okay, I am so far confused now. It's kind of like the only way I'm going to understand what's going on is if I keep watching it and hope at some point I understand what's going on.
So I think I've got to the point now where I'm going to wait for it to be finished, and then I'll watch it again from the start and hope that I'm able to keep up with it if I binge watch it.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I've just lost track of it.
I'm going to. I won't normally do this live, but I'm going to
go for a shit.
I've just been researching 2 drivers last night in the racing league, like sort of starting to like kick off a little bit in the main chat, and straight away I just said, look, both of you shut up. Either of you like do another comment to each other, and I'll just ban you. So they both shut up and they're like, oh, sorry, yeah. Which were quite good. And I sent both a private message on the private one saying, look, send each other a message, and I hear about it, you blocked or whatever. And they were like, yeah, no worries. And it was quite good, but I've looked back at the footage now, and I personally think one driver gets a bit hot-headed, and then just continuously, because he feels he's been forced off the track. From then on, he hits the same driver about 5 times. What I'll do is actually I'll video it, and then I'll send you the onboard. You can. It might take a while to upload on a messenger, but your opinions of what you say.
All right. I'm trying to do something else that I watched. I watched a few sort of old films recently. Kind of got into watching a few classics while I'm waiting for new films to come out. But I did watch the new Avengers. Weird film. And I have no idea where that's going. If you've not seen it yet, guys, check it out. But I don't know if you remember, a while ago I sent you to a link to a film that's coming out this year, that's called Upgrade. It actually comes out on the 1st of June, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, and that looks like it could be a really interesting, funny
film. Do you know
film.
the 1st of June has gone past, Dave, yeah?
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, it must have been July then. I don't think it's out yet. I'll have to recheck. But yeah, look for Upgrade. It's really good. Or at least when I saw the trailers, it looked really good. Now I do have another video to show you guys. But before I do, I'm just wondering if there's anything else that you want to bring to our attention.
Yeah, well, we're going to say about some of the stuff that's been going on in the Star Wars community. And it's getting a bit fucking ridiculous, right? And you've got to imagine there's a pretty huge fan base for Star Wars. Now it's been going like 40 years. And you've got your original trilogy fans. So that's episode 4, 5, and 6. Then you've got your prequel trilogy and original trilogy fans, such as me. So when episode 1 came out, I was about 9. So I think them movies are a bit embedded in. Like Dave, you said that you tried to watch episode 1. Got about 20 minutes in and like, ain't grabbing me.
Yeah, it bored me.
Whereas when I was 9, because I literally just wanted to soak it all up and understand exactly what was going on with everybody, I'd probably give it the benefit of the doubt. Whereas if I had been a bit older at the time, I probably would have been a bit more like yourself, been a bit like, nah, not really for me. So you've got them 2 sets of fans. Then you've got the younger generation who are just picking up on Star Wars for the first time, now that Disney own it, and they're pumping out movies every single year. So you've got a fair wide range of ages, sexes, whatever. And we've said plenty of times, and I've said, the biggest allure of going to watch episode 7 and 8 is as original trilogy fans, getting to see the big three, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo, in my imagination, I remember even being a kid in my imagination, thinking, oh, if they made an episode 7, what would them characters be doing now? You know what I mean? You just like, your imagination goes a bit like, oh, I wonder what. Because episode 6 kind of ends on a happily ever after ending. And then obviously you go 35 years later and the same shit's happening. But after episode 8, you've obviously, in episode 7, you've killed off Harrison Ford and Solo. Episode 8, you've killed off Luke. Could possibly come back as a Force ghost. That's about it. And Princess Leia, unfortunately, yes, she lives in the movie, but we all know she's had an heart attack and killed over in real life. So when you go for the finale of episode 9, you've really not got any of that previous weight of the original trilogy left. All you've got remaining is new characters, other than
Chewie,
C-3PO, R2-D2, and Chewie, and they're not exactly the main characters. So that's why I do kind of feel like they've kind of squandered the opportunity and possibly could have re-shot the end of episode 8 so that Luke Skywalker possibly didn't die and that something horrific may have happened to Leia, you know, just re-edit it with a stunt double and, you know, everybody's like, oh shit, she's dead. You know, follow the real life trajectory. And then you've got something remaining to see what happens in episode 9. But unfortunately, we ain't got that now. So all you've got left are the characters that have been created in the Disney era, which are Rey, Poe, and Finn. And that Chinese girl is... I can't remember her character name because the character was...
I thought it was a lad.
Well, get this right. Solo, well, obviously, we all know Solo's bombed. And it's mainly bombed. I personally feel loads of people are going, oh, well, is it franchise fatigue? Is it this, that, and other? No, because if you look at Marvel, they're pumping out movies once every like 3 to 4 months. And they're making loads of money.
Yep.
Because they're providing the fans what they want. And people are going, I want to go see it, you know. There's something always there to make you go see the next one.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas, we've got, let's say we've got now 4 characters, and I think it's the Chinese girl's called Rose or something like that. So you've got Rey. He's shit hot in the first movie. She doesn't know why she's shit hot. She just is shit hot. She can do anything. Can fight somebody who's trained with Luke Skywalker, who is like an evil Jedi, and kick his ass. So straight away, she's shit hot, which then leads you mind racing, going, well, what's her backstory? You know, how can she be?
She hasn't got one. She's nobody.
She hasn't got one, and all you're left with from Lucasfilm is she's amazing because she's a girl. Well, sorry, that's not a good enough plot point for me. Luke Skywalker became such a lovable character because he fucking failed at everything, apart from the one thing, which were telling everybody, I can save me dad, when everybody's telling him, no way, kill him. You know what I mean? That's the only thing he actually succeeds at.
Well, he did blow up the Death Star as well.
Yeah, he did blow up the Death Star, but obviously from The Empire Strikes Back, it didn't really make much of a difference. The Empire still were shooting them to shit. So, yeah, he had that little bit of glory in the first one. And usually, if you have that, it sort of suggests that you must have some sort of heritage. And everybody was led to speculate then, obviously, with episode 7, oh god, is she a Skywalker? Is she what is she? No, who's her parents and all this lot. So it kind of touches on that in episode 8, but then just completely drops it, and she's just shit hot because she's a girl, and I don't want to be sexist, but
that's just not a good enough plot point for me.
No.
Because if Luke Skywalker had been able to beat Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back and get away without losing his hand and without losing altogether, you'd be like, well, what's the threat?
Mm.
You know, so you're kind of left with that now. And one of the fans on Twitter had put something like, I might have sent you the tweet. I think it were from Ryan Johnson saying, I'm deleting, I'm blocking people off my Twitter, and it's never felt so good.
Who's Ryan Johnson?
He's the director of Episode 8.
Oh, right, okay.
He's the one that cocked it all up.
He's the one that's cocked it all up. And he's now publicly saying to fans, basically, if you don't like what I've made, tough shit. Rather than being, look, you know, I understand that some people might have reservations, but shoot, or we could, you know, turn it around for Episode 9. You know what I mean? It'd be like me going into a restaurant, I always go in and I always get the same pepperoni pizza because I fucking love it. I turn up and I go, can I have the pepperoni pizza, please? And they go, yeah. And they make it, they bring it out to me, and I start eating it, and I think, it tastes a bit weird, this tastes a bit wrong. And I go, excuse me, sorry, this just doesn't taste right. It doesn't taste like what it does normally. It tastes a bit off or something like that. And then they turn around to me and go, oh, well, yeah, we've replaced the chef and we've got a female chef now, or something like that. And me going, yeah, but you know, that shouldn't really matter. The meal itself is not right. Mm. And then they're turning around and going, oh, well, you're being sexy. It's like, no. I'm saying the product I've asked for is not really what I've, you know.
Yeah, it's not what I'm used to getting.
The product I keep coming back for, which is, in Star Wars terms, mythology. There's no mythology going on in Episode 8. It's just, let's just fuck everybody off.
So his tweet then, because he did send it to me, it says, I've started blocking assholes and it feels so good.
But what he don't understand is, like, people like me, he might think I'm an arsehole, but I've just got genuine concerns that I want, in the future, I want to turn around to my nephew or whatever when he's grown up and go, let's sit down and watch some Star Wars. I want him to sit there and go, they're fucking amazing. Mm. I don't want him to sit down and go, well, that one, right? What will that character do? I don't understand it. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Well,
here's something for you. Something that isn't bullshit, right? I saw a message recently that went like this. It's not Star Wars, but I think it's something that could potentially interest the both of you. And the message reads like this. Hi everybody, today is a very important day. Besides being my birthday, I'm announcing Back to the Future 4. We thought about it for many years and we started shooting it last summer. I'll reveal the release date in a few days. And that was from Michael J. Fox. Yeah,
I'm not surprised. Yeah. There was always talk of it being done. And I suppose with them being both the age they're at now, it's going to be interesting how they do it. Because obviously I'm wondering whether they're going to go back in time as old people or whether it's people going forwards in time to seeing them when they're old.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know, do you? I did see another important message as well, and this one goes like this. It says, cop on a horse says to a little girl on a bike, "Did Santa get you that?" "Yes," replies the little girl. "Well, tell him to put a reflector light on it next year and fines her £5. The little girl looks up at the cop and says, "Nice horse you've got there. Did Santa bring you that?" The cop chuckles and replies, "He sure did." And the girl says, "Well, next year tell Santa that the dick goes under the horse, not on top of it." Not a serious message, I know, but funny. So yeah, I mean, Star Wars isn't it? I mean, I think Star Wars are going to have to make an absolutely phenomenal movie for people like James, who are mental fans, to go, you know what, we can forgive the last couple of films because this has made up for it.
What Ryan Johnson should have been saying from the outset is, we can see that a lot of people are not seeing the long-term story of where this is going, but they're going to love it in the long run. But he hasn't. And it's almost as if they've made this one not knowing what they're going to do next.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't think there's a problem with a film producer saying, look, I understand that you might not like the story at the moment, wait until we've finished it. Because it's a little bit like saying, right, here's a book to read, and someone reading the book and then going, well, hang on, what's happened to the ending? It's just fucking stopped. And then going, well, there's another book now, and then when you finish that, there'll be another book. Well, if you don't know about the second and third book being there, it's... you're not going to appreciate the full story. I mean, it's a little bit like... I've never liked... I mean, for me, films... okay, like Star Wars, for example, right? Episode 7, Episode 8 and Episode 9 are effectively one long-ass movie. I would rather watch one long-ass movie than watch one bit, wait a year, watch another bit, wait a year and watch another bit. That for me doesn't work. I mean, you think back to things like sequels from the past, RoboCop 1 and RoboCop 2, they were not necessarily, their story didn't connect other than it was RoboCop. Lethal Weapons, the stories from Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, 4 didn't connect, it was just that the characters did. But Star Wars is a bit different in that the story is connected throughout the three, a little bit like Lord of the Rings was. You watch the first Lord of the Rings, and when you had to wait a year or whatever it was for the next one to come out, it wasn't... I mean, I got to the end of watching the first Lord of the Rings thinking, well, what the fuck happens now? Oh, I've got to wait a year and a bit to find out. Well, that for me doesn't work. I'd rather have a 6-hour movie and go, right, okay, well, I can watch that. I might need to take a few breaks, but I can watch that. I'll get the whole fucking story.
It's the way that they can make you pay 3 times for one film.
Yeah. I mean, would you do that? Would you rather that, James, to watch one 6-hour movie or watch 3 2-hour movies that is going to take you 3 years? James?
I think he's just realised he's not done the washing up yet. James?
I'm back.
All right, didn't know you were gone. So
have you done the washing up yet?
No, I'm going to do that in about 5 minutes.
So, did you hear anything of what we said for the last 5 minutes then?
All I heard were you banging on about a new Back to the Future being made.
All right, okay.
So missed the important bit.
Yeah, missed the important part.
He missed the joke about the
yeah,
girl.
Must have done.
What's that?
You didn't hear about the girl and the cop?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to retell it. You'll have to listen back on the podcast. No, we were just talking about how, for me, it does my head in that with films, although you've got sequels, or like, for example, with Star Wars, you've got episodes 7, 8 and 9, it's one story, but it's going to take 3 films.
3 movies to tell it.
Yeah, I was asking the question, would you rather sit and watch one 6-hour film with a few breaks, or watch 3 2-hour films that's going to take you 3 years?
I think I'd rather sit and watch one complete vision. I think that's the main thing that's pissing me off with Disney movies. There's no overarching, this is the story, tell it. At least with the original trilogy, like George Lucas didn't direct all 3. He got Irving Kershner, who was his school teacher, to direct Empire Strikes Back. And then he got Richard Marquand to direct episode 6. And his name was his name was just down as producer. But George Lucas pretty much he might as well have been like the second director on both movies, because for all of the sequences with action, George Lucas were basically directing that and doing the editing and all that in the background for the movies. But yeah, at least it was one complete vision. George Lucas hands them a script and goes, "Make that."
Yeah.
And that's not happening with new Disney movies. With new Disney movies, it's like, oh, do what you want, and yeah, it's sort of like you writing a bit of story, and then it's like Chinese Whispers. So you write a bit of story, then the notepad gets passed to me. I write a bit of story, and then I turn that notepad over to Steve, so he has to read the first paragraph you wrote, the second paragraph I wrote, and then he's got to finish it off. Sorry,
and then they give it to the then they give it to the director of fucking Hannah Montana to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is the thing with Marvel.
Before episode 7 even started, there should have been a full outline of bullet points that they had to hit in each movie.
I mean, this is the thing with Marvel, though. I mean, you take any of the Marvel films, all of the Marvel films are connected in one big story. But every Marvel film is its own story. Its connection to all of the others is minute. There are hints to it, and you see the hints, you know the hints, but each film is its own individual story, a movie. And you watch that story in that movie, then you get the hint of, okay, there's a connection with Iron Man, or with Spider-Man, or with the Hulk, whatever it is. And that's how the Marvel way works. Whereas with Star Wars, I don't mind going and watching a film and thinking, well, if there's a sequel, I'll look forward to watching that. But I don't like going and watching a film and then going, well, I've got to wait a year now to find out what happens to that story that I've just watched.
Yeah.
When you watch a movie, there should be a start, a middle, and an end. And if there is a connection to another film, okay. But I don't want start a movie, oh right, now the middle's in a different movie and the end's in a different movie. You're just taking the fucking piss there.
But like you know, like I'd mentioned about like that. What's his name? Ryan Johnson putting out a tweet saying that like, oh, I'm deleting people and it's never felt so good. Sorry, but what does that show? As somebody who is, for the average Joe on the street, he's seen as one of the top people at Lucasfilm after making a Star Wars movie. It's just baffling. The thing is absolutely baffling that there's no, from the high ups at Disney going, shut your fucking mouth, we're trying to make money here, you're going to kill it.
I mean, there's a difference between, for someone that's in a high profile position like he is, I mean, I didn't know who he was, but for someone that's in a position that he is, there's a good chance that people are going to be tweeting him shit all the time, and it's going to get to you. I can understand that. Now, if he has been getting messages of a certain nature that are out of order, then he'd be better off saying, I get a lot of messages, I accept the criticism that people may have, but people that overstep the mark, I'm deleting those arseholes. That is completely different to, I've deleted a load of arseholes today, it feels so good, because then everybody thinks, well, hang on a minute, am I one of these arseholes?
Yeah, Matt, are you grouping me in that category?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I've just sent you, I don't know if it's come through yet, it's not popped up to say that it's ticked.
No.
I've got a message here from John Boyega, who plays Finn. And this is baffling, right? This lad tweeted, because what's happened over the past 2 weeks, and this is completely unverified, the girl who plays Rose, the one who Steve said he thought it were a boy, she's basically removed herself from social media.
Right.
And people have been saying, and this is unverified for anybody, that apparently she's removed herself from social media because of the amount of bullying that she were getting from people sending her messages, which is a full-on disgrace. If anybody's messaging her saying, oh, you're shit or whatever, I'm sorry, it's not her fault. The person who wrote the script for her character is at fault, and that is Ryan Johnson, because he wrote the script and directed the movie. So he should be the one getting the, like, why are you making characters that are just fucking shit? You know what I mean? Well, not like fucking shit, but words to that effect that's politer than that. And so yeah, John Boyega sends a tweet. I don't come through it, so I'll just read it out. John, I don't have the original message, but he started out saying, "So funny how you think you're right. Social media silence forced on the cast." And it's probably saying, look, if you don't want to deal with the fans voicing their opinion, it might be worth you all basically either removing yourself from social media or having, let's say, for example, if I were an actor and I were playing James Bond and I were criticised, I probably wouldn't want to be on social media.
No.
But that's the risk you take when you become a public figure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you become a high-up celebrity, that's the price of fame.
I mean, that's not to say that you should accept the fact that people are going to give you shit, because it's not acceptable. But as you say, when you are a public figure, there is that risk that people are going to voice their opinion, which they're allowed to do. But there are also people that are going to overstep the mark. And it's a little bit like, I mean, the newspapers are the same. If you don't want to know what stories are being written about you, don't read the newspapers, or don't do shit that's going to get you in the newspapers.
But the thing that baffles me with this is John Boyega's reacting, obviously, to the girl who's removed herself from social media. And the guy that responds, I've got to say, he doesn't respond with any swearing, no nothing, just seems like a fan who just loves Star Wars, and he's basically voicing his opinion that he thinks that the modern characters, which what I've said, the modern characters that have been created by Disney are not very well fleshed out and just don't seem to be, the narrative of the story don't seem to be going anywhere. Finn starts out in The Force Awakens as not a kind of a little bit like a coward, but he wants to just run away from all his problems. He's petrified and just wants to run away. And then people are like, "Oh, can you help us out?" And he's like, "Oh no, I just," you know what I mean? He just wants to get away. And then episode 8 starts, and you think, right, what's the development of the character? And no, straight away he wants to get on an escape pod. He wants to get away. So his character's pretty much one note at the moment. There's been no development. And this lad who tweets John Boyega basically puts, "Hey, if I'm wrong, I apologise, but this is relating to the girl who's left social media. Hey, if I'm wrong, I apologise, but this narrative that all fans are hating her is pathetic. We hate her character, and to be honest, yours wasn't much better." Basically meaning, like, we're not having a go at her as a person. We're saying that the character that's been written by Rian Johnson is not an amazing character. To the plot, I don't think in episode 8 Finn or Rose actually contribute anything really to the plot, other than they go to that Canto Bight and they're like, "Oh, look at this casino! Wow! Oh, let's jump on a horse! Oh, let's go now. Oh, there's Benicio del Toro." I don't think they actually give anything to the story that makes you go, "Oh, yeah."
The only thing that they gave to the story was the fact that they gave a kid a ring, and
and what does that mean?
But at the end of the film, you saw him using the Force to be able to pick up a broomstick.
That explanation was hilarious. He goes on to say, there's the same lad, "Hey, if I'm wrong, I won't apologise." This is the same tweet. "Hey, if I'm wrong, I apologise, but this narrative that all fans are hating her is pathetic. We hate her character, and to be honest, your character wasn't much better." And John Boyega replies with, "We don't care," in big bold letters. Now that, to me, just comes across like, obviously he's a bit fucked off, But does that just mean that the people that are making Star Wars don't care what the fans think, or that the fans are voicing their opinion? But that's kind of what I mean. It's like going to a restaurant where you love the service, you fucking love the food, and then you're going, this just ain't quite right. You know, I hope you can rectify it for next time I come. Rather than having the customer service of, I'm really, really sorry. We'll sort this out. You know, apologies, and you know, we hope your experience next time is a lot better. You know, something to that extent. No, we don't care if you received that from a place where you regularly went to do business. I personally think that the high ups at Disney need to get a rein on everybody who works for Lucasfilm and need to say to them all, look, we know there's a lot of backlash. We can clearly see that through the amount of money we've got for Solo, which is fucking shit. The last thing we need is you lot now biting back at the fans because they're having a go.
I mean, we had something sort of kind of like that in that not far from where me and Steve live. There's a curry house that did kebabs and curries and stuff, and we always used to order from there. Ordered from there for years, and the food was always okay. It was pretty good.
You knew what you were going to get when you ordered.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I know I ordered for myself one day, and the food was awful. It was really not nice at all. And I thought, well, maybe they just had an off day. A week or so later, I ordered again, and again, it was awful. And then I was talking to Steve about it, and he said that he'd had pretty much a similar thing, that all of a sudden the food was bad.
Well, the thing is, it's a sort of place where they never got your order wrong. And if they did, well, to be honest with you, I don't remember them ever getting my order wrong. But it got to the point where the first time I noticed something wasn't quite right was the fact that we'd ordered, say, 2 kebabs and a portion of chips and some onion rings or something like that, and the chips didn't turn up. So we ring up and say we didn't get the chips. Oh, right, do you want us to add them onto your next order? Do you want them still sending out? So we said, still send them out, because we still want them, kind of thing. Because the reason why we said that was because while we were eating the kebabs, we're thinking, these ain't very nice. Don't know if we're going to order from there again. So that's why we wanted the chips sent out, because we didn't know whether we were going to be ordering from there, because the kebabs were just nothing like they would be normally.
Yeah, I mean, when I ordered pretty much the same as I had done previously. It looked different, it tasted different, it wasn't nice. I think the third time I thought, right, I'll give them one last try, and I tried it again, and it was awful. And it turned out that basically the people that ran it had sold it, so they'd got new owners, but the father of the family that had sold it had basically stayed on to help with a bit of a transition. And so it was clear straight away, right, okay, there's new people in, the food is dreadful. Now, because of that, I mean, I never actually had a conversation with them to say, look, I don't like your food. I can imagine, well, you can tell us about that in a sec. I just thought, you know what, I've ordered on 3 different occasions and the food has not been good, to the point of not wanting to eat it. I'll just order from somewhere else. And turns out where we order from now, the food is phenomenal. It's the best takeaway food I know I've had, and I know Steve's had. I mean, I've never tasted onion barges like this place delivers. Or chips. Usually you get chips from a takeaway, they're not very crispy when you get them. They're beautiful. Everything I've had from this...
the chicken tikka, it just melts.
Yeah, everything is fantastic. So what was it like when Claire rang them up about the new owners then?
She didn't ring what it was. I think it must have been the 2nd or 3rd time we were disappointed, and she sent the Facebook page a message saying, you know, regular customers have been for, must have been, 15, I mean, I've been a customer there for probably nearly 20 years, but me and Claire, at least 10 years, we've been ordering from there, and you know, it's like we've had 3 bad orders back to back. Is there a reason? Is there something changing? And it was the sort.
Oh no, the washing machine's ticking off.
I thought James was going for an angry wank then.
me balls and you. I'm gonna take it. In that picture I've sent you.
Yeah, well, that's what made me think of it.
Oh, it's getting louder.
James just sent me pictures of Jensen Button's girlfriend. That's what made me think James has gone for an angry wank.
Yeah, but yeah, it was the lad that responded and said, "Oh yeah, me and my dad have sold up. My dad's staying on there for a bit." And Claire actually said, "Are you looking at opening up somewhere else because we're not going to order from here again?" And he says, "Well, if we do, keep an eye on the Facebook page."
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, they've not opened up anywhere else, but we're happy with where we're ordering from now.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is as well, I mean, I don't know if it's the same for where you are, James, but like, for example, if you order food from somewhere and it's really nice, and then you find out where it is, and you're like, oh, you know what, it's a bit of a dodgy fucking area, that. It could be dog they're fucking sending you. It's kind of like, you know what, if the food is amazing, I don't care. If it's dog, it fucking tastes brilliant. I don't care. It's really nice food. And the place we order from at the moment is kind of a little bit like that. It's like, if you looked at it, you wouldn't think you'd get good food from there. But actually, the food is easily restaurant quality food.
Yeah.
Oh, I've sent you both the video on Messenger. I'll put it up on the video. If you both want to play it at the same time and just like watch it and talk your way through what you're seeing.
I have had a little look at it already. So this is the video that James was on about earlier from his racing league. I won't show it on the broadcast because that'd be a little bit unfair.
So you two both just talk through what you see. If we press play at the same time.
See what you see.
See what you see.
One car following another, defends him, no room for him there. Maybe a little bit of a squeeze, but nothing really in that. Racing incident for me to begin with.
Yeah, probably could have backed out of it so he didn't have so much of an effect of rear end.
Sorry. Can we start at the same time? We'll go. We'll go 3, 2, 1, and then we'll press play at the same time. Is that alright?
Okay, go on then.
Right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so no cars moving yet.
So they're just about now. They're moving now.
Yeah.
Okay, so one car following another. He moves over, defends his line, no problem there. That for me is a racing incident.
Yeah, because he clearly made it his intention that I'm going to defend this corner, didn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't. It wasn't like a late dive. Oh no, shit!
No.
It's coming up the inside. He already made that move. So now this driver that we're on board with in the black and green car is hunting him down, and we're just going to be heading down towards the bridge that we're going to go underneath.
We say he's hunting him down, but it's a race. His objective is to get ahead of him.
Yeah. So we're just passing that sausage curb on the right. He's gone a bit wide in front. We're going through the bomb hole, and it's just going to be a whack up the arse there.
You can't drive through the car in front.
No, but I would say that one.
And that one there, what would you say?
We see the first one. I could probably say, you know what, it's very easy, like in a corner where you perhaps don't brake and someone does.
Yeah, if they do,
maybe 50-50 on that one, not much in that. The second one, but this third one, I don't know.
Because I think on the third one, I think it gives the cars width. But then I kind of see that the black and green car starts to move left. If we just get back to about 1 minute 15, so he's lost his rear wing, so he's lost downforce as well. So,
you know what? Before we get to the second one, right? Looking at the second one again, I wouldn't say that I don't think that looks an intentional ramming up the arse end. I could be wrong. I mean, the nature of that corner, looking at the line that he's on a decent line, and the car ahead gets out of shape, a little slow, and there's contact. I wouldn't necessarily say that looks like an intentional ramming. I could be wrong though, but that's just the way I portray it. The third incident, going down the start-finish, I mean, the room's there, it's closing, the door's open. I think that's just unlucky, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, looking at it from a neutral perspective, I think if it was intentional shunting, the effect would be greater.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I know that is because you might not have seen it in the podcast I did last night. I got shunted to fuck by an AI car. He was so
I was
far.
going to ask you about that.
Did you saw that? He was so far behind me. I'm thinking I'm fine here, and I'm slowing down for a call. Next thing I know, headlights massive in my fucking mirror. Smack, off I go, spins me out, goes and wins the fucking race in the last corner, doesn't he? I couldn't believe it.
Like normally with GT in the past, it's been a procession, and it's just a matter of working your way past them. Once you've got past them, they're not an issue to you. You've got past them, you drive off. Now, they're aggressive.
Well, yes and no. In that race, it was. In the previous races I did, I know James was watching at that point, it was just way too easy. I was in underpowered cars and I was dicking it. It was ridiculous. Now, James, I know when we're talking about Gran Turismo Sport here, I know you asked me on my live stream, James, whether you can increase the AI difficulty. As far as I know, on the campaign mode you can't, but it should get harder and harder the further you go into it. On the arcade mode, though, you can increase you can select a difficulty level, but even then, I mean, I did that for the last race that I did, I still dicked it.
I was going to say, the way, well, obviously, what you're trying to do there is obviously complete the races to progress on. But what you can do to make it harder for yourself is be in an underpowered car or an overweight car, and it actually gives you more money for winning the race by using a handicapped vehicle. I don't like that name, but that's what it's called.
The thing for me, though, that to me, I said it on my broadcast, that doesn't feel right to me. A self-penalising system to make it more competitive. I don't want to be using slower, heavier cars. I want to use the fastest, best cars for that class. And the AI just can't compete with it, really. I mean, the last race that did either of you see the last race that I did?
I can't remember if I stuck around for that long.
I don't blame you.
To be honest.
Well, I'd said I've got one more video to show. And that video actually is it's a replay of the last race that I had.
In the Skyline?
In the Skyline. Now, I will play the video, and while it's playing, we'll be able to talk and the viewers will be able to hear us because there's no commentary on it or anything. But what surprised me about this was I went into this race, I'd tuned up a Skyline, I'd done its engine and its weight, so it was running over 900 brake horse. Now, even though I was in a 900 brake horse Nissan Skyline, the cars I was up against, I was expecting to annihilate me, but they were nowhere near. Well, I say nowhere near, weren't too far away, or at least one of them wasn't. But I'll send you a link to the video and you can have a laugh at how that went. Now, on this race as well, I did put it on the I've just seen James send us a message. I did put it on the hardest difficulty that the game allowed, so I really expected it to be a massive challenge, but to be honest, it wasn't anywhere near a massive challenge. So if you let me know when you're loaded up and ready to press play, and I'll pop it on for the viewers.
I'm ready.
Right, hang on, it's loading.
Now, what I will say as well is, I did do up the engine and the weight, as I said. I didn't think about looking at anything to do with the brakes, which I found was a little bit of a mistake.
I'm ready now.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, hit play. So this video is a few minutes long. It starts off with me talking a little bit, so I'm talking over myself, talking at the moment, but don't worry about it.
If you don't know what that's about, you're more than welcome.
So yeah, I put this on the hardest difficulty. Now, James, you know when you were watching I drove the old F1 car?
Folks, take care.
Yeah.
I got the feeling that car wasn't as leery as it should have been.
Yeah, because I seem to remember on the Project Cars game, I think it's a slightly different year of car, but the turbo boost kicks in like halfway through each gear, so you're kind of, even though you're accelerating going up the gears, as you're on the accelerator, halfway through each gear, you're kind of lifting off slightly, because if you kept your foot planted, you just end up spinning the rears and flying off.
Well, talking about that, I'm heading up to turn 1, first time driving this car, and taking. Would I get into your league there, James?
You're taking the scenic.
He's off to the chocolate factory there, that's what he's doing.
I'm off
Yes.
for some odd knobs. What I will say is, watch how much the car pitches and rolls on acceleration and braking. And also, James, you can let me know what you think about the livery I designed. I mean, I love this track, and I know where it goes. I found this car so difficult to drive. It was
Did
more.
you do anything about the suspension?
No. I didn't touch anything, like I say, other than the increasing the power and reducing the weight, and put racing tyres on it.
Oh, belly, your breath stinks, girl.
I mean, I do like the game. I will admit.
Yeah, not badly, do you?
There's a special bit on the back that I'll fucking shit myself down here.
I wasn't wanting to be in that Jag, Jesus.
Now, on the when I was actually driving it, I went into there. I was like, "Oh shit! Hello, Bugatti." I was totally out of control down there. Now the car.
How was the Bugatti getting minced on a straight?
Well, my car was able to do 220 mile an hour.
I thought a Bugatti could get up to near 300.
252, I think.
Oh, nice. Oh, you're a bit wide, Ooh. Come on, Ferrari. Oh, don't brake. You should have gone round him, you idiot. Oh, what is that Ferrari doing?
Too right.
Amateur hour.
You think that's bad? Just wait. I mean, there's 3
I've got a
laps.
feeling you don't make this next corner.
What gives you that impression?
I do like the camera angles.
So Steve doesn't think I'm making this corner. Look at that.
Oh,
beautiful.
A little bit of
a
wiggle, but that's alright.
Do you have any? You know what? Even at 220 mile an hour, you can't see the cones.
And just in case people are wondering what the cones are for, on this game you can not have. You don't have to have racing line on. You don't have arrows telling you which way the corners go, but you can have cones to mark when to brake, turn, and put power back on and stuff like that, can't you?
Can you move the cones, like if you want to brake 10 metres deeper?
No. You can.
Oh, you've just hit one.
You like that?
You can move them like that, yeah. I like the message on the back though.
I don't think James has
Oh,
spotted it
nice.
yet.
Bit of drift, a bit of rallycross there. I think my dog Bella. I think she's in season because she's doing some very weird things. Currently, she's just rolled over and just aimed a fanny at me.
Yeah, if she starts rubbing her arse on your leg, you know.
Yeah. She did this thing the other day. I was laid down on the floor. She walked over to my head and just raised cocked her leg right over my head.
Oh.
I know. I was like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" She was like, just staring at me as if to go, "Go on." I'm like, "Oh, go on, what? You're a dog, I'm a human." No, can happen here.
It's not happening. Yeah, it's a little bit like my driving here. Shocking.
You went to go between
No,
the
you're very close. Very close. You were just using all of the circuit, Dave.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
The tarmac is the circuit. You don't care about white lines. Just like Herman Tilke don't care about white lines. Ooh.
What the hell is this?
Oh, that wall. Oh, you couldn't have crashed it at a worse place.
Honest to God, this car did not want to slow down. The first.
Yeah, it looks like a typical American car, bullet in a straight line.
Now bear in mind,
shit at turn.
yeah, I fucked up turn 1 last time, so I'm thinking, right, I'll take it a bit easier this time. I'm going to get this right.
You do know this is turn 2.
Yeah, turn 2. Right, okay, we'll go this way then. I probably know this track better than most, to be honest, so it was very frustrating for me going off as often as I did. But I think it's clear to say the suspension definitely needs work on this car.
Oh!
That's dog fanny in his face.
Oh no, she just licked her fanny and then come over and licked me. Oh, awful. Right in my mouth as well.
Now that was a nice drift around that corner as James was getting...
Oh no, I've lost the bloody video now.
Oh dear.
Tell me a timestamp.
I don't know, I'm watching it on the broadcast.
540.
540. I'll put it at 550. Tell me when to press play.
3, 2, 1, now.
Cool.
I see James still
So
has
it's-
his. Oh,
So he's just missed the he just
Yeah.
missed the chicane there.
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
Back on, right.
That's where I
Lovely.
nearly hit the Jaguar and the Bugatti last time. So even though I'm trying
Yeah.
to drive it a little more sensible than the previous lap, it ain't working. Special message
Yeah.
on the back of the car. Look.
Fuck what?
Off.
I like. We've been watching. You know Steve Coogan, who does Alan Partridge, is a character he did in. I think it was like 2008, 2007. It was called Tommy Saxondale, and he was like a pest controller.
Right.
And he drives. I think in the menu it shows the exact same car he drives. It's like an old Mustang, but it's bright yellow. Shelby. But yeah, he's just a pest controller, and on the back of his Mustang it has a bumper sticker saying "Let's roll." Because apparently that last thing that were said by the people on board Flight 97 that crashed on 9/11. The one that didn't actually hit. I think that one were meant to go and hit the White House, but yeah. Oh, I've been watching more conspiracy theories about World Trade Center as well.
Where are you going, Dave?
Oh yeah, where are you going?
Questionable.
It's not looking too. Where's your competitors? Where they're?
You'll see them soon.
Yeah,
I've got
to lap them.
I've got to say, if somebody give me the opportunity to drive in this car at this speed, I'd probably say fuck off. Because you know for a fact, if this was real and you hit a barrier, you'd be dead.
Oh yeah.
There's no. In a Formula 1 car, you probably feel a hell of a lot more safe. Mind you, have you seen the footage? There's been like a GIF put together, and it's Brendan Hartley's head smacking against the side of the halo.
No.
They were saying that with the halo being there, it could have knocked him out completely.
Bloody hell.
Because he had to go to a medical centre, and there was nothing on the car. It was just, what happened there?
Got reset.
That's what happens when you take too much of a cut.
I don't like, even though the penalties were turned on, I don't like games that reset you like that.
No,
Not right back into the middle of the
right
track
on the
anyway.
circuit. Yeah, it's a bit. I know, obviously, you ghosted, but still, it's a bit. It's a bit like in reality, it should. In reality, it should just say 10 seconds added to your time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it tends to do a lot of the time. It does tend to work out how much you've gained, and it adds it on. But you can actually negate the penalty by easing off, and it reduces your penalty. And you can do that up until the finish line.
Yeah, you up stinky. Coming to watch the video. Yeah. Come sit down.
I mean, I will admit,
Don't lick me.
I have enjoyed driving on this game. I mean, it was very. As I said when I was doing the broadcast, I hadn't driven on a wheel for a month or two, so it was very odd, especially going on to a game like this compared to a sim game. But I mean, this was definitely the fastest, hilarious car I've driven so far on GT Sport.
How did you not hit the fucking wall?
Talent, mate.
Talent.
That's where you run out of talent.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. But
So how do you design the livery then?
there's two ways you can do it. You can design it on a computer and import it onto the PC, which I haven't import it onto the PlayStation, which I haven't tried yet. And the other way is there's a livery editor on the game. It is very basic, but it's actually
time-consuming.
It is time-consuming, and annoyingly, you can't like make a livery on this car and then transfer that livery onto another car.
No.
Which is a pain in the arse because it means you basically got to make a livery for every car. I think I've done. on.
I wouldn't be surprised though if you know, like with like these games, if like you know they love doing DLC and all that shit, which I fucking hate. I just completely refuse to get any DLC. It's like I'm just having the basic game. If it doesn't have it in it, tough shit. You know, unless it was something fucking out of this world, which it would have to be for me to put down more money. But I could easily see him saying, "Look, here's the game, but rather than DLC, there's an app, and it costs two or £3. You download it, you can edit your liveries, and then transfer through the app straight to the PlayStation, and it's preloaded."
Yeah,
I could see something like that happen.
I mean, liveries on PC are so much easier to, well, not necessarily easier to do. Didn't make that corner a single time. Now, on the old games Grid and Grid 2, you could make a livery on one car and transfer it onto others, and it'd be wrong, but you could edit it a bit.
Tweak it.
You tweak it to make it right, and I'm surprised that this hasn't got a similar thing. Now, I do know that you can upload and download liveries, and you can download other people's liveries, but I think it is only for that car. I might have to look more into it, but I must admit, it did piss me off a bit in having to make a livery on each occasion, because it is time consuming. Because, I mean, I'm trying to think, I don't know how long this particular livery took me to do, but I think I've done 3 or 4 liveries now, and they do take quite a while to complete, annoyingly.
But if you were a part of a racing league, you would actually, even though it takes a while to do, you would actually love to do it, because you'd be like, I want to, when the race replay goes up, you'd be able to go, well, I can see myself straight away, and
exactly.
Everybody, you know what I mean? But yeah, nice, very nice, very leery. It looks very under braking. The amount of forward force seemed a bit fucking mental for me.
Well, you're more than welcome to go and watch the actual onboard footage of it, because it wasn't fucking easy.
Also, just to say, on PlayStation Network at the moment, PlayStation Store, £13.49 for that game. It's been reduced by 73%.
Yeah, until the 18th, I think it is. And I mean, the single player campaign is a little boring. The circuit, I mean, the broadcast I did last night, and if anyone wants to watch it, it's on my own personal YouTube channel, Demon Red Mist. I'll put a link in the description.
Oh, that reminds me, Dave.
What?
Your picture.
What picture?
On the video. Your thumbnail.
Yeah.
It's got your old name on it.
What, DP?
No, the FRR DP.
Oh, right, I'll have to change that at some point. I need a new YouTube picture then.
I'll sort that out for you.
Thank you very much. I did the broadcast for a couple of hours last night, right? On the single player campaign, which I spent at least an hour doing, I earned about 30,000, right? Towards the end, before I did that Skyline drive, I went on to the circuit experience to show what that was like, and in the space of 36 seconds I'd earned more money than I'd earned in the hour before.
Yeah, I did some circuit experience today for about an hour and came away with about $1 million.
Yeah.
But it is good. It's a good tool, though.
Yeah,
it is a good tool.
But James is right, though. Like, as far as like if you were doing league racing and people could have their own liveries, their own designs, it does make it that little bit more special. I mean, I know it from doing Formula Sim racing, having your own livery on the videos and stuff like that. And people know all that. Like, for example, if I was racing that Skyline, you look in your mirror, you know it's me coming up behind you. Mainly because I'm probably about to ram you, but you'll get to know who it is that you're racing with and stuff like that. Like, for example, I mean, we've not had it for long, it's only been a couple of days, but Steve has got a sort of theme of colours that he's going with, which is yellow, so I know when I'm on track, if I see a yellow car, it's probably going to be Steve.
Apart from it'll have a black bonnet.
Yeah, true. But I do like the livery editor because, I mean, it is very basic, but if you've got a talent for design, you'll be able to use what is there to very good effect, and the mirroring that it does is very good as well. So you only sort of have to design one side of the car, and you can mirror it to the other side, so that stuff lines up much better. The only thing I didn't like, the bit that I wrote on the back of that skyline, the fuck off, you can't actually write. You can't say, right, I want to write something and this is what I want to write. You have to do each individual letter. So
Yeah.
it took me about 10 minutes just to write fuck off.
Yeah, I've wrote something on the back of one of my cars, and I was surprised how long it took. And I've only wrote 2 words, and each word is only 3 letters.
Only 3? What 2 words could he have on the back of his car, James, that would only have 3 letters in? It's probably spelled fuck you, F-U-K.
No. You'll have to wait and see.
2 words with 3 letters each.
Yeah. I would admit one of them is a bit of a slang word.
But that could be fucking anything.
It's a bit of a Fast and Furious phrase.
Well, it's not shake and bake.
No.
Well, it's not drive or die.
Nope. And it's not Too Soon Junior.
It can't be inch and mile because they're 4 letters.
I say you'll have to just wait and see. And maybe for the next podcast when I get a picture to show everyone.
Yeah, maybe. You know what I might actually do at some point if you want, James, right? We can get you on the PlayStation, do a bit of share play, and get you to design a livery on one of my cars, and we can show it on one of the future podcasts, see what you think of the livery editor.
Yeah, that'd be good, that, yeah. I did have an idea of us having a shooting game or something to that effect. Obviously, I'd have to save up. But
well, if that's the case, it's got to be Killing Floor 2, because that's just...
We could do like the let's say we do Formula 1 news, and then we do 1 hour of gameplay, hang round in a group, have a bit of a laugh for an hour, and then we come back for a picture game, and you know what I mean, spice things up a little bit.
Sod the picture game. We do a Formula 1 news, and then go back online playing Killing Floor.
I mean, I've had a look at Battlefield 5. It does look pretty good, but I can imagine it's not going to be cheap when...
Yeah, it'll be expensive at the start. But mind you, Battlefield 1 came out, and then I did see it in, I think it was like Morrison's or something. Morrison's is a really good place for games, because they don't have a fucking clue. I once went in, and Morrison's had, I think it were F1 had just come out about 4 weeks. It'd been out 4 weeks, and it was down at 25 quid. And I'm like, if I'd have just waited 4 weeks, could have fucking saved 15 quid. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't bought...
Oh, that's reminded me of something. I saw something on Facebook today, and it was... if there's something unexpected from this year's E3, what would you like to see? And I commented, you know, so it was basically write in the comments what you would like to see at this year's E3 or something like that. And I put Codemasters to lose the F1 license.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no desire in playing a Codemasters F1 game. I mean, having driven cars on a PC, it blows Codemasters out of the water. I mean, Gran Turismo Sport is very different to PC, but I kind of like it.
Do you know what I like about it? And it's the pick up and play, and it's fun. It's a game. It's not to be taken too serious, and if you're on there with your mates, you can have a laugh. And you can use your wheel with it, and it's good fun. And and I'm at that point now where I think that's what I want from my driving. My experience on playing online.
It. I mean, that's something
Yeah.
I think. I mean, obviously I've been going through quite a lot of personal shit the last couple of years, but the enjoyment factor for me definitely became very limited. Instead of it being an enjoyment, I wouldn't say it became a chore. It became work. Spending time on setups and stuff instead of just enjoying the driving. And that was something I must admit I didn't get enjoyment of driving from Project Cars. Project Cars 2. It frustrated me, and at that time I didn't have the patience to stick with it. F1 Codemasters lost me 2 years ago.
To be fair, I think it lost me 2 years ago, but I didn't have a. I know the Project Cars and Project Cars 2 was about, but it didn't engross me as much as I'd want it to for me to put down Formula One game.
Yeah.
I think I've been clinging on to Formula One, hoping that, something better is going to come around, and I'm at that point now where even if the next F1 game was great,
it's too late.
It's too late, because when you think about it, the next F1 game is going to be in these current cars that is shit to watch on TV.
Yeah, which means
that you can't overtake, you can't follow people. Why would I want to, race them?
I mean, I'd much rather have, and I don't know why Codemasters haven't done this, because if you look at Project Cars 2 or Gran Turismo or stuff like that, they can't do a proper F1 car, right? Because of the Cody's license. But I do know Project Cars 2 has got F1 style cars on it, and even GP2 style cars on it, which aren't that bad. Now, why haven't Codemasters gone, right, okay, we're going to do F1, but we're also going to do GP2 and GP3? Because at least then they've got a bigger market. And not only that, you could, as a career mode, you could build yourself up to it, or you could drive the different cars. The problem for me is that, I mean, it's one of the reasons why I went onto the PC side of things. It was more of a challenge, but it was a more realistic style of Formula 1 car, and other games weren't offering that. And I must admit, I'm a little disappointed in Gran Turismo Sport that it has only got one F1 style car, and it is an old one, like 80s old one. And I do miss being able to really thrash an F1 car, but that's the thing with a modern F1 car, you can't thrash an F1 car around a racetrack anymore.
No, but you do have the Red Bull Junior, which looks like it could be a fun car.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to wait and see at some point. Anyway, anything else you guys want to talk about, want to discuss, want to mention?
Next F1 race. It's
2 weeks.
It's not Sunday. Yeah, it's the Sunday after.
Oh, yeah. Did either of you watch any of them science fiction James Cameron links I sent?
I didn't get a chance to. I was waiting for the Star Wars videos, but I know you couldn't send them.
I couldn't understand what on earth happened, because I sent the James Cameron ones the other day, and I thought, oh, it's weekend, I'll send Dave and Steve the Star Wars ones to come watch them over at weekend. And every time I sent them, it just said, cannot send this link.
Because of a potentially dangerous website or something like that.
Nah, it's not dangerous. So you might just want to pop your email address if you use that.
All you got to do is copy
screenshot.
Screenshot or copy the title, and we can find it because we use the same website.
Yeah. I'll
once
I'll
we
do that.
find it, it's easy enough to do that. I'm pretty sure I've got a feeling there was something else I was going to mention to you guys, but I can't remember what it is. That was it. Don't forget, guys, to go back to the start of this podcast to have a listen into Steve's workout and the song that I sang.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so no Grand Prix this weekend. 2 weeks. It's French Grand Prix from Paul Ricard, which
they need to take out the chicane halfway down the straight to have any interest of any kind of overtaking with that circuit.
Yeah.
It's the only way they're going to get overtaken is by putting chicane. I mean, by taking the chicane out. Surely their thought was, let's put a chicane in to create overtaking, but it's going to have the opposite effect.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen. There isn't really any other overtaking places around that track. Well, there is, but the chances of the current F1 cars getting in that position, not going to happen. It's not good. I can't imagine it's going to be an entertaining race to watch it all, to be honest. But I suppose we'll have to wait and see. So next Tuesday we will have to come on and we'll get our predictions, and I'm sure we'll go through a few other things as well. So make sure you come and join us for that. Make sure you also like and subscribe. We'll see how cruel James is going to be with a picture game for Steve next week. I think for Steve, we ban him from doing James a picture game next week. We'll have to get perhaps something else to do. But yeah.
I'll do lyrics for him. Lyrics from a song.
Oh Jesus! Do you know much music, James?
Not really.
Alright, I'll give him half a chance.
I know George
Lyrics.
Michael, or Queen, or Michael Jackson. That's about it.
Oh, talking about Queen.
I'll do lyrics from a
Oh yeah,
movie
the Queen movie. That one.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I've not seen it, but I am looking forward to watching it. Because I think the guy I saw an interview with the guy who plays Freddie Mercury, and he's a bit of an odd guy, but he's a very good actor. And I think he was talking about when he'd first signed up to play the role. He went to go for a meeting, and it ended up being with the other band members, and basically the film producers had sent the actor to do some singing of the songs and wanted to show it to the rest of the band members. Now, the actor hadn't realised that the first time they were going to see it were with him sat there as well, so he was shitting himself, wondering what Brian May's going to think about how he's doing the song, but apparently they absolutely loved it. So
Peter Taylor.
Yeah, Peter Taylor. So it could be a really interesting film.
Sorry to be a analyst, so it's Roger Taylor.
I know, I was just testing you.
Bullshit. Peter Taylor, weren't he Brian Clough's right-hand man?
Yeah.
And Derby manager, yeah.
I didn't even realise that the bass player had died. Deacon, was it? I forgot his first name.
John?
Roger.
I can't remember.
Is it John Deacon? Yeah, I think it
know.
is. Yeah, I didn't even realise that he died.
Damn.
But yeah, I've been just getting into me George Michael. I don't know why, but I think the reason why I like George Michael is I love Queen and I love Michael Jackson, but some of the fucking notes they hit when I'm like singing away in the shower, I cannot. There's some of them where I just have to go.
Vicky, I want a recording of James singing in the shower.
Whereas George Michael, I can hit alt notes and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of feel like, oh yeah, I can sing like George Michael. I know I can't, but you know, but yeah, oh man, Club Tropicana, that's always on the go in the shower.
Fair, that's an interesting insight into James's shower routine.
Club Tropicana, drinks are free. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh jeez.
Could get you playing guitar and me singing that.
Okay, now.
And Steve, what could you do? Could you do a musical?
Fart.
Yeah. Steve can fart and we can just like edit it, and he can do the trumpets. You know, the trumpets where they're going do 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 do, but it with farts. I'd be like,
haven't they got?
That sounded more like YMCA.
Haven't they got? Is it trumpets in Mamma Mia? Mamma Mia, let me go. Beelzebub.
Oh no, that's Bohemian Rhapsody. I think that's piano. It starts dun 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 dun, and then it goes like opera, and then it goes a bit mental. Right. Yeah. Oh, and also George Michael, Jesus to a Child. That just gets me every fucking. I'm like, oh
what is it with him singing about children?
What?
Well, he wasn't
Drives
singing.
Michael.
He wasn't singing about children. He was singing about Jesus, that guy that's parked up at the side of the road. That got when I was recording that clip earlier. I thought I don't know where to end it, and then I heard, "Oh, there's Jesus parked up."
But the lad's called I Am Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And he seems like a lovely lad. And but on that race, as soon as it rained, like he were doing really, really well in the drying. And as soon as it rained, you could kind of see that he'd clearly not done a lot of practice in rain, a bit like me, doing a lot better than me still. But he literally like just spun off and parked up like about 4 times, and then it just got to a point where I was like, "Oh, there's Jesus." Oh, Jesus is there now.
Yep.
Like, it's just miraculously moving around the track.
He was also there at the end of the race as well. I noticed. But no.
I think I even said something like he might in the commentary, like he might not be able to walk on water, but he's coming through the field.
Well,
Brilliant.
okay, James. What words have you got to get into your next?
What is the word? What's the word I've got to get in? I can't remember. What's the word? Something about anal bleeding.
Leakage.
I'm gonna say bleach factory.
Anal leakage.
Leakage, right? Okay.
Anal leakage.
Anal leakage. Right. Yeah, that'll be it. That can be Nigel's backstory as to why he wasn't present at the last race. He had some bad anal leakage. Some bad anal leakage? You mean diarrhea? No, leakage. Lots of leakage. It was some loose motions, Ellen. Some loose motions.
Too much chocolate.
Too many hot dogs.
Lactose intolerant. That's what he is.
Yeah, or he might have like got some sweet treats from Anna. There's plenty of sweet treats. Yeah, fucking brilliant.
Yeah. But anyway, keep up the good work with the commentary anyway. They've been good.
Why?
But right, I think it might be about time to bring this evening's podcast to an end. So thank you everyone for joining us, listening in, watching, commenting. Thank you very much. Hope you all have a fantastic night and a great rest of the week. Make sure you come and join us next Tuesday to see what antics we're going to get up to then. Have fun. See you later.
Adios.
See ya.
Blah 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 blah.